Coming to you live on Wednesday morning. Good morning, baseball fans. It is Wednesday, not Monday, as our normal podcast. This is obviously you are tuning in for our first episode of the playoff preview. 1A through 6A will get started this week. There are two series that are getting started today, and we're gonna. Here in just a minute, we're going to jump right into it and look at each matchup, 1A through 6A. You know, we don't want to be on here for 2 or 3 hours, but we do want to look at each series and briefly discuss them this week and give you our thoughts on who we think is going to win. Austin and I, neither one of us know who the other one picked, but we're gonna make those picks, 1A through 6A. As you are aware, 7A is finishing up this week. We've already got one area that has been decided in 7A. The others are still up for grabs, be finishing up in the next few days. And then next week, we'll take a look at the first round 7A, as well as looking at the second round of 1A through 6A. But I think I said this the other day on our Monday podcast. Had a coach that texted and said the best 5 weeks of the season, and I have to agree with him, man. This is going to be It's always exciting getting into the playoffs. It's obviously more exciting as long as the more that your team wins and you advance another week. Good morning, Austin. You doing all right?
Good morning. Doing great. In the process of moving houses, so I've been dealing with that, but excited for the playoffs and excited to start picking some teams.
And also excited about Sunday afternoon.
That's right. Yep.
Headed to Talladega. That's exactly right. So, yeah, we've got a lot going on, but at the forefront is the high school baseball playoffs, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into 1A right now. Again, I do want to reiterate that next week there will probably be more in-depth analysis for these teams and these players, as we will look back on a winning series and getting to the second round and how that occurred. This week, we're going to look at really, area finishes, their overall records, who we like in the series. I'm probably going to say this a few times during the show today because we have people that get on at different times. There's probably not a lot of people, there may be, but, probably a lot of people that are wanting to hear 5As and 6As. They know it'll be towards the end of the show. But, just a couple of things to go over before we get started. Number one, there is some weather that has caused some changes in schedules, and we have done our best to try to stay on top of those changes. I'm sure that I feel certain that there's probably some that we haven't seen. We're at the mercy of, people reaching out, letting us know, teams X or Twitter pages. So there's probably some that we don't know about that have been moved up from Friday to Thursday. So if we get into that today and we say a series is on Friday and it's starting on Thursday, please throw that in the comments and we'll throw it out beside there. Again, a lot of moving pieces, man. And we obviously cannot stay up on it minute by minute. We do try to do that, to stay up to task as much as possible, but it's impossible to do so minute by minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's also tough to, we've got 96 playoff series to go through. That's whatever times that by 2, that many teams to talk about. So, and we're just, when we talk, we don't have any notes, anything. We're just going through it. So if we leave a player off when we talk about it, or when we're talking about that team, it's no disrespect. I know people get, upset when we don't mention their players on their team or whatever, but this is just strictly off our head. So,
yeah, no doubt.
And if we pick against your team, it's not, we have no skin in this game. We don't, if you get upset that we picked against your team, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And that's 2 things I was going to say, Austin. And one of them, records, as Austin just said, it's been crazy this week with getting prepared for playoffs. When we go over the records here, these records that we're going over have none of the games from this week. There are some teams that have played some, just some contests to get ready for the playoffs on Monday or Tuesday. Those wins and losses will not be included in the records that we talk about. So please know that up front. And then second, Austin just said it. If we pick against your team, don't be offended. We don't care who wins. And we've always said, and this is what I've heard. This is one of my favorite sayings. Thanks for the motivation. Well, if you need motivation in the state playoffs for someone to against you to try to win, then I don't think that that's a problem with us. I think that that's something you look in the mirror, because the only motivation that you need is to try to get to the next round. So you need
to get motivated to play in a state playoff series. And you're letting two Joes from make you upset. I don't.
If we make you upset, yeah, that's right. We will be out and about. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going tomorrow or Friday. That's still up in the air, but we'll be out and about. But again, that we don't have any skin in the game. We could care less who wins. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And as we go through this, we will go down the left. I guess y'all are seeing it from the left side. We're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. I don't know if I was looking at it, reverse or not, but we're going to go down from the left side, which is the north side, and then get to the south side, the southern part of the bracket in each matchup. Our first matchup in 1A, again, this is in the north. You've got Spring Garden with an overall record of 15-11. They come in winners of Area 12. There we go. Yep. Winners of Area 12. They will be hosting Area 11 runner-up Victory Christian. Victory Christian comes in with an overall record of 12-8. Both of these teams finished right outside of the top 10. So this has the makings of being an interesting series. Spring Garden in that Area 15. They were, Area 12, excuse me, Area 12. They went undefeated, going 6-0 in Area 12. I said in Area 11, Victory Christian was 4-4, finishing runner-up to Appalachian, a very good Appalachian team. Listen, man, this one is an intriguing one right off the get-go. Again, we have both these teams right outside the top 10. I think that lets you know what we think of them. Spring Garden winning that area, having the right to host this week. That was the deciding factor for me. I'm going to go Spring Garden. I think Victory Christian could very well win this series. There's no shame in finishing run up to Appalachian, but I'm going to get a start to go with Spring Garden in this 1A matchup.
Yeah, and I think it was a three-way tie for Victory Christian, that area with Appalachian. I think Coosa Christian finished tied as well for that second place, but I'm going to go Spring Garden as well. They've played I think out of the gate, their first 15 games, I think they had a losing record. You look at who they're playing Piedmont, Jacksonville, higher classification teams, and then they get into area play, and like you said, they go undefeated. I think that schedule, the teams that they played, I think that kind of sets them up well for this matchup and on down the road. So I'm going to go Spring Garden as well for our first matchup in the North in 1A. Our next matchup, we have the top-ranked team in 1A. That's Hubbertville. They will be hosting Pickens Academy. Hubbertville finished as the Area 10 winner, going undefeated in area play, while Pickens Academy sits at 7-14. They finished runner-up in Area 9 to
South Lamar.
Yeah. So listen, all year long, Hubbertville, I think, started outside the top 10. They were a team we tried to get in early. I think they started their season a little bit later. But once they started, they kind of hit the ground running. They've beaten a bunch of ranked teams. And I think I'm going to go with Hubbertville here, our top ranked team in 1A. I just think their body of work, they're 17-14, and they've played a fairly strong schedule for 1A. Like I said, they played some ranked teams. They've beaten some ranked teams. I know they played South Lamar yesterday. I think South Lamar was able to beat them. So, but ultimately, I'm going to go with Hubbertville here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hubbertville as well. We have a number one for a reason. Before I go on, I forgot to mention Spring Garden and Victor Christian. They're scheduled to get started tomorrow. And again, if we on Friday. My apologies. Spring Garden and Victor Christian on Friday. And again, if you're listening and you hear any of these and there's difference, please let us know. Hubbertville and Pickens Academy will get cranked up Thursday at 4:30 doubleheader, and then the if necessary game will be on Friday. But yes, I'm going to go with Hubbertville as well. You mentioned it. They had not played a lot of games early. Then they got started and have just rolled off win after win. They are our number one ranked team in the state for a reason. So we're both going to side with Hubbertville there. Moving on down the bracket there in our next matchup, this one will get cranked up on Friday. That is Area 15 winner, Skyline. Skyline went a perfect 6-0 in that Area 15. They come in with a record of 14-5 overall. They will be hosting Waterloo. Waterloo finished the runner-up in Area 16. They finished 4-2, as did Covenant Christian and Shoals Christian. But Covenant Christian was they won the tiebreaker, and Waterloo had to settle for runner-up. Waterloo comes in with a 14-10 record. This one, as I said, will get started on Friday. Skyline is one of those teams that has been really, that obviously that 14-5 record speaks for itself. They've been just on the cusp all year of being ranked for us. Waterloo, I think, has gotten hot of late. Coming with a 14-10 record. But I think this could be an intriguing season, but I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Skyline to advance to next week, get to the second round. So give me Skyline.
Yeah, I'm taking Skyline as well. Going up into that last week of the regular season and of area play, both them and Ider were both 4-0, and Ider was a team who also had a really good record and a team that was on the cusp of getting inside the top 10. And Skyline swept that series in 2 games. So I think that kind of speaks to how well Skyline's playing right now going into the playoffs. But Waterloo, like you said, they've won 4 games in area play, and that's an area with Covenant Christian, Shoals Christian, and Cherokee. But I'm going to go with Skyline here ultimately to advance to the next round. We've got some good matchups in 1A right off the bat, and I think this is one as well. We get to 1 second. Let me have my pick here. Our next matchup, we have number 6, Lynn, who will be hosting an Athens Bible team that finished on the bubble in 1A. Lynn finished as the winner of Area 13. They ended up beating Hackleburg. I think they lost that first game to Hackleburg in the area championship, and then won game 2 and 3 to win that area championship. Athens Bible, also was in a tough area, it was a game that you were at. You saw Athens Bible last week when they played Addison for that area championship. Addison was able to obviously win that. But Athens Bible comes in with a 16-9 record. They'll be on the road going to Lynn, who won that Area 13, like I said, over Hackleburg. Lynn is 15-5, and Athens Bible is 16-9. This series gets started on Thursday, with the if necessary game being on Friday. And I'm gonna go with Lynn. I think this is a sneaky, like I said, with some of the ranked matchups that are happening in 1A early on. This is one I think that could go either way, could go 3 games, but ultimately I'm going to go with Lynn here. Just they've been inside of our top 10 all year long. Last few years seems like they've had some good playoff success, and especially being the home team, I think only helps their cause in this matchup. So I'm gonna go with Lynn to advance to the Sweet 16.
I'm going to go with Lynn as well. I will tell you, seeing Athens Bible last week, I think they ran into a really good Addison team. But Athens Bible has shown the ability to score some runs. The top 3 hitters in that lineup can really bang the ball around the yard a little bit. There's only 1 game that I saw. I think that they've got the ability to score some runs. But, when you mentioned Lynn having a history of postseason success, Athens Bible's in the same scenario there. So these are 2 teams going against each other, both with pretty much a storied past of success in the playoffs. But give me Lynn as well. As you said, we've got them ranked number 6. Give me Lynn to win this one. And again, I think it's going to be a really, really competitive series.
And you look down further on down the line with Addison and Hackleburg. The winner of that area with Hackleburg and Lynn, it was big to win that area because you look at Hackleburg having to go on the road to play Addison.
Yep.
But now you win that area, you're at home. Athens Bible is still really good, but you stay away from having to play Addison.
That's right. That's right. Our next matchup in the North in 1A, you've got the Area 16 winners, Covenant Christian. They come in with a record of 6-14, but won the important games. They went 4-2 in area. They will be hosting Area 15 runner-up Ider. You talked about this Ider team earlier, losing to Skyline late in the season. That was for the area championship. Ider comes in with a record of 15-10. They do sit on the bubble right outside of our top 10 in 1A. This is one of those situations, and there's a lot of talk about area play, and we need to revamp how we do playoffs, and we talk a lot about it in 7A and those Birmingham regions, and the Birmingham areas. It's just what it is, man. Some areas are much stronger than other ones. And I think that I think Ider is coming from a pretty strong area there with the 4-2 record, only losing to Skyline 2 out of 3. So this may be, I don't want to call this an upset, but I am going with the road team here. I'm going to go with this one will get started on Friday. All right. I'm going to go with Ider to go on the road and beat the Area 16 champion Covenant Christian this week. Upset, I don't know. I don't know if you can call anything an upset, really. But I'm going to go Ider here based on their overall body of work, that impressive 15-10 record. You talked about their matchup with Skyline. So give me them to advance.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ider as well. You look at their schedule, who they've played. Obviously, you talked about playing Skyline. They've also played North Sand Mountain and got beaten both of those games. But one of those was a one-run loss. So showed the ability to be competitive against a team that we have ranked in 2A. So I'm going to go, and we talked about Ider being on the cusp all year long of being ranked, kind of struggled down the stretch a little bit. But I'm going to take Ider here to go on the road as well and take 2 of 3 against Covenant Christian. Our next matchup, we have number 2, Appalachian, who will be hosting Jacksonville Christian. This series gets started on Thursday at 4:30 at Appalachian. Appalachian finished as the winner of Area 11, winning all 8 games over Coosa Christian, Jefferson Christian, Victory Christian, and Ragland. Jacksonville Christian finished as the runner-up in Area 12. I think they played Spring Garden in that final week for the area championship. Spring Garden was able to take 2 of 3. But I'm going to go, Appalachian is 21-3, Jacksonville Christian's 5-5. I think this is, I think Appalachian, is potentially on a quest to make it back to the 1A state finals this year. Obviously, with that 21-3 record, they played consistent all year long. And I think it was either 2 or 3 years ago they won the state championship in 1A. They're always a consistent powerhouse in 1A over these last, especially 5 years, making deep playoff runs. And I think that they're equipped to make another run this year. But Jacksonville Christian as well is a team to watch. But I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Appalachian.
I am too, and I think this one could be very convincing. And obviously could very well be wrong as well. We've got Appalachian ranked number 2 for a reason. I've only lost 3 games this year, 21-3. I really like Appalachian in this series, and again, I think it could be very convincing. But we'll see how it plays out. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll let you know that. So moving on down the bracket there, we're almost through the northern half. You've got our next matchup. You've got the Area 9 winners. You've got South Lamar, who come in ranked number 8 with a 16-7 record. They will be hosting the runner-ups out of Area 10. That's Berry. Berry comes in with a 9-9-1 record. Berry finished runner-up to Hubbertville, and I think that carries some weight there. We obviously think a lot of Hubbertville. Berry went 4-2 there. I believe their only 2 losses were to Hubbertville, finishing runner-up there. Again, South Lamar, the Area 9 winner. They went a perfect 6-0 in that area with Holy Spirit, Pickens Academy, and Pickens County. This series will get started on Thursday at 4:30. Again, we've got South Lamar ranked number 8. South Lamar has won about it looks about 10 or 11 out of 12. They've lost one game since March the 30th. They've lost one game, and that was to Gordo. South Lamar is playing very well. Having them ranked number 8 might be a little low. Again, their only loss since March 30th has been to Gordo, and we'll talk about Gordo later. This is another situation where I really like South Lamar. I think that they're a bona fide contender, and I'm going to go with them to advance to round 2.
I'm going to pick South Lamar as well. I talked about it, but you saw what they did on Monday. They beat number 1 Hubbertville 13-7. And now that's, you don't read too much into that with, trying to save arms for the playoffs, but still it certainly counts. But you look back at South Lamar, these two teams have played twice. Opening day, or not opening day, first game of the year for South Lamar, they beat Berry 8-6. And then on March the 10th, they beat Berry 5-3. So, yes, we have South Lamar ranked number 8. They're 16-7, but Berry is, those are two run losses, 2 competitive games. And this, not saying, looking what's down the line for the next matchup, whoever comes out of that next matchup that this matchup is paired with, I would, if I was South Lamar, I'm sure that their full attention's on Berry. Because they know they've played them twice, but I'm going to go with South Lamar here. I think that they're playing well at the right time. You said they're one loss since March 30th has been to Gordo. So we know how good Gordo is, but I'm going to go South Lamar as well, but one to keep an eye on in 1A. Our next matchup, one of the top matchups in the classification, if not the top matchup in the class. In the opening round, you have Addison, number 7 Addison, hosting number 9 Hackleburg. Addison comes in with a 19-6 record. Hackleburg is 20-10. Addison finished as the winner of Area 14. Talked about it when we were talking about Athens Bible, but you were able to see Addison in that area championship last week where they swept Athens Bible. So they will host the first round. And then they will be hosting Hackleburg, like I said, who finished as the Area 13 runner-up to Lynn. They got beat in that deciding game 3 of the area championship with Lynn. Like I said, Hackleburg we have at 9. Addison is at 7. Hackleburg is last year's defending state champion. Beat Leroy in the state finals. Both of these teams have been ranked pretty much inside the top 5 all year long, but not scuffled as of late, but have taken some woes down the stretch. They come in at 7-9, like I said. This series gets started on Thursday at Addison. I'm going to go with Addison at home, I think, and it's always tough to pick against Hackleburg in the playoffs, a team that's synonymous with having postseason success in Class 1A. Obviously, last year state champion, but a tough task to go on the road to Addison. Not saying they can't do it. You look at Addison, I know that the guy that you were really impressed with was Stone Talley, hitting in the middle of that order, strong left-handed bat. He's going to drive in plenty of runs. But Hackleburg is well-equipped as well. This should be a really intriguing matchup to get us started in the first round, but I'm going to go Addison in a game I could see going either way, in a game that I could see going three games, but I'm going to take Addison at home.
Yeah, I haven't picked against Hackleburg very often over the last couple of years, but I'm going to do it this week as well. And again, that's no disrespect to Hackleburg whatsoever. You've talked about this 7 versus 9. This is a big time series right out of the get go.
These teams have been ranked number 1 at some part of the season too.
Yep, and you talk about we talked about winning streak. Addison has only lost twice since March the 17th, and that was a 13-11 defeat on March 21st against number 1 Hubbertville, and an April the 3rd loss against, I think, a 20-5 Cordova team. I think they're 20-5. So they have reeled off a ton of wins in a row, including, looking at their schedule, including these two teams have played before on a Saturday in March, and Addison won that game 15-2. Now, we don't know who was pitching. We don't know, who was available and all that. That score to me is probably a little bit misleading. But again, I like the Addison team I saw last week. I think they scored 50 runs in 3 games. So I, like you, I'm going to go with Addison. That'll wrap us up in the north part. So now we'll jump over to the south, where we have our first matchup. You've got Area 4, the winners of Area 4. That's Sweetwater. They come in with a record of 16-13. They will be hosting Area 3 runner-up Elba. Elba comes in with a 9-10 record. Sweetwater, they sit right outside of our top 10 in 1A. They win a perfect 4-0 in Area 4, defeating Marengo and Choctaw County, while Elba finished runner-up to Brantley. They went 3-3 in that area. This series will get started on Thursday at 4:30. Again, it is at Sweetwater. I think it's we talked about perennial powers in 1A. I think that Sweetwater is one of those teams that is synonymous with winning in small school baseball in Alabama. I'm going to go Sweetwater here. I like them to advance to round 2, and I'm almost certain they are the Bulldogs. Give me the Bulldogs to advance to round 2.
They are the Bulldogs.
Yep.
And we saw Sweetwater in our small town showdown. They're the only 1A team, and they did more than hold their own. They beat Sumiton Christian, and then played Mars Hill and Gordo, which are 2 of the hottest smaller classification schools in the state. So they played a tough schedule. They played Excel multiple times. They played Blackshear, played Leroy. But like you said, Sweetwater, made the state finals 2 years ago. And just they're a name that's, again, you talk about deep playoff runs in Class 1A, and you have to talk about Sweetwater being as consistent as they've been. I'm going to go Sweetwater at home here. I think that the Bulldogs get off to a good start to start their playoff run, and I think that they take the series over Elba to advance to the next round. So we both go Sweetwater. Our next matchup, you have Kinston hosting Millry. Kinston finished as the don't want to say surprising, but I think you could call it an upset based on, just rankings, coming into that area championship. Both teams with Kinston and Florala in that area too. They were both 4-0. So winner of that series gets the area title. I think Florala won game 1, and I think Kinston won game 1. I think Florala won game 2, and then Kinston was able to take that game 3 to wrap up that area championship, which was very important because you look at the Area 1 winner, and that's Leroy, one of the top teams in 1A. So that was a big feat to take that area championship playing at home. Like I said, Kinston winners of Area 2. Millry finished as the runner-up in Area 1. To Leroy, they went 6-2 in that area with Leroy, Fruitdale, McIntosh, and Southern Choctaw. Kinston, both of these 2 teams are on the bubble. Millry started inside the top 10, maybe got off to a little bit of a slow start, but have righted the ship and have made the playoffs. And you get into the playoffs, you're 0-0. But these, Kinston comes into this series ranked or with a 14-9 record. Millry is 8-14. This is one of those series that gets started on Friday. I'm going to go with Kinston being at home, and I think that the last week's taking 2 out of 3 against Florala, I think that served as a statement for both of us. Was very impressive. We talked about how good Florala is on recent podcasts. So I'm going to go with Kinston to ride that momentum and get a home series win in the playoffs and advance to the next round.
I'm going to do that as well. And, sitting here looking at Kinston's record, obviously that 2 out of 3 series, I know you've said it about twice already, that 2 out of 3 series win over Florala really speaks volumes. I like them at home this week. Again, a matchup of 2 bubble teams, an athletic Millry team. But I, like you, I'm going to side with Kinston in this matchup to advance to the next round. Another series that gets started on Friday. You've got the winners of Area 7. You've got Autauga Academy. Autauga Academy comes in going 4-0 in their area. They're at 11-7. They're going to be hosting Woodland. Woodland finished runner-up in Area 8 to Fayetteville. Woodland went 3-3. we have given the praise to Fayetteville all year long. There's no, nothing wrong with finishing runner up to them. Woodland comes in again, going 3-3 in that area. But Autauga Academy going through Autauga and Verbena. I think that they've had a solid season all year long. They've been on the outside of our top 10 all year long. They finished the season on the bubble there. And correct me if I'm wrong, Austin, was it last year or 2 years ago? Autauga Academy made a pretty good run. I believe it was last year. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the experience piece there. I'm going to go Autauga Academy and what they hope will be the start of another strong postseason run. Give me the Generals to advance.
Yeah, I'm going to take Autauga Academy as well. They've played some 5A, a bunch of 5A, higher classification schools in that Montgomery area, and did so last year. May not have had the flashiest record, but when it came playoff time, they reaped the success of playing that strong competition, and I think that shows up in this round. And so I like the home team in Autauga Academy as well to take the series over Woodland, where they will meet the winner of University Charter in Billingsley. This is one matchup I don't think I've made a pick for. Looking at University Charter, who will be the home team hosting, they finished as the winner of Area 5 over Keith and RC Hatch. They went a perfect 4-0 in that area. And then Billingsley finished as the Area 6 runner-up. They went 6-2 and lost the last two games of area play to Maplesville in that area championship. A Maplesville team is playing really hot as of late. Both of these teams were on the bubble. I think University Charter last week beat Leroy. I think they played 2 games. They split. So University Charter has shown the ability to play some really good teams and have success against good teams. While you look at Billingsley as well, they've had a strong season with a 16-8 record. I'm going to go with Billingsley as well. I thought about it, but I'm going to go Billingsley to go on the road, take 2 of 3. You see his reaction. I mean, we both think that this will be a very competitive series, one that could go either way. University Charter being at home, I'm sure it'll be a good atmosphere. But I'm going to go with Billingsley to take 2 of 3 in a competitive series to start off in the first round. We'll move to our next matchup. We have Verbena, who will be going on the road to face Fayetteville.
Yeah, I got to give mine there, right? I haven't given mine yet, have I?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go Billingsley as well. You saw my reaction. We both picked the same teams in every matchup and don't like it, but our record's at stake as well. We want to beat each other. I went back and forth on this. I originally had a question mark by this pick. I'm gonna go Billingsley as well. But again, University Charter, I mean, they've beaten the likes of Millry, blew out Hale County late in the season, played a good schedule. You mentioned the split with Leroy, beat Sweetwater recently, beat Millry again. But I think Billingsley is a team that outside of our top 10 that could possibly be ranked. I remember on one of our podcasts, someone said Billingsley should be ranked. So, here's their chance to show it. We'll see. We're both going to go with Billingsley in this matchup. I think neither one of us will be surprised if both of us are wrong as well. That'll take us to our next matchup. Our next matchup, you've got Area 8, the winners Fayetteville. They come in with a 13-6 record. They did breeze or I don't use the word dominate, but went a perfect 6-0 in area play. We had them ranked number 4. We've had them ranked all year long. They will be hosting Verbena. Verbena finished runner-up to Autauga Academy in Area 7. They come in with an overall 11-3 record and did go 2-2, beat Autauga twice and lost to Autauga Academy twice. This series will get started on Friday. As I've already mentioned, we've got Fayetteville at number 4, even with that 13-6 record. If you're a normal listener of our podcast, you've heard us talk about Fayetteville all year long. We've actually heard from opposing coaches out of class, and not 1A coaches, but coaches out of class about how good that Fayetteville team is. And we sort of starred that really, really early in the season. And again, they have played, no offense to other schools, but I would put their 1A schedule up against anybody's in the state. Again, I think this is a team that's preparing for a run. We'll see. It could end after 1 year. Or excuse me, it could end after 1 week. But I'm going to go Fayetteville to advance to round 2. I think we've talked about what we think of Fayetteville.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to go Fayetteville as well. They've got a strong core, 2 players. I think are Ethan Jones, and I think their catcher is headed to Lawson State Community College. So, and you said it, no need to beat on it anymore. The schedule that they've played, this is the time of year where it shows up. So I'm going to go with Fayetteville at home to take 2 of 3 and move on to the next round. Our next matchup in the South, we have Choctaw County going on the road to face Brantley. Brantley comes in as the Area 3 winner and ranked number 3 in our final Class 1A poll. They sit at 15-1 heading into the playoffs. They swept, breezed through their area with a 6-0 record over McKenzie, Red Level, and Elba. Choctaw County finished as the runner-up in Area 4 to Sweetwater and finished 2-2, beating Marengo for that runner-up spot in area. Like I said, Brantley comes in at number 3. This series gets started tomorrow on Thursday at Brantley, and I'm going to go with Brantley to take the series. I think Brantley is obviously that 15-1 record. I think they've played Florala. They beat Florala 10-0 earlier in the year. I forget what their one loss was, but
their one loss was they didn't start until March the 7th, and their first loss was on the first day of their games. They lost 12-1 to Highland Home on the first day of games, and they have not lost since.
Yeah. So 15, they enter the playoffs with a 15-game winning streak, and I think that they continue it this week, taking the series over Choctaw County.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brantley as well. Again, I just mentioned to you, haven't lost since the first day of the season. I think this is about the 3rd or 4th team I've mentioned. This is a legitimate bona fide contender in 1A. So give me Brantley to advance over Choctaw County this week in first round. Moving right along, as we got 2 matchups left, you've got Area 1 winners, Leroy. Leroy comes in with a record of 22-9. They did go a perfect 8-0 in their area to wrap that up. We have them at number 5, and they've been ranked, I think, as high as number 1 this season. I know they were in the top 2 or 3 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But Leroy comes in number 5. They will be hosting, and we've already talked about this. This is an intriguing matchup. They're going to be hosting the Area 2 runner-up, Florala. Florala comes in with a record of 15-7. We talked about them losing that area final series with Kinston. Florala finished 5-1, but Kinston won the area. Florala finished outside the bubble, and I think they were ranked every other week of the season except for this week. So, and again, rankings don't matter a bit right now. Listen, this is a toss-up for me, an absolute toss-up. This one gets cranked up on Friday. 2 quality teams. You look at it, unfortunately, there's going to be one 1A team, a baseball team that's going to be out after week 1 with Leroy and Florala, and both of them have the makings to make a run. But I'm going to go with the home team barely. Again, this was a coin flip for me. I'm going to go Leroy here to advance. They're overall they've been right there in the thick of it all year, as has Florala, but I think that home field advantage might play a little bit of a difference here. Give me Leroy to advance.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Leroy as well. Both of these teams have some star power. You look at Leroy with Sawyer Sullivan, a key piece for them, and then Florala, Easton Walsh. For Florala, Easton Walsh has been a staple at the plate and on the mound for Florala since as long as I can remember, playing for the last few years now. But ultimately, like you said, I think home field advantage plays a big part, especially in the playoffs. Give me a Leroy team that won 22 games, played a difficult schedule, but so did Florala, and Florala's beaten some higher classification teams. This will be a really good series in 1A to get started. But like you, I'm going to side with Leroy to advance. But we wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way and Florala was able to take this series. But we're both going to lean with Leroy in this matchup. To get us wrapped up in 1A, our last matchup, we have Keith going on the road to Maplesville. Maplesville made their debut inside the top 10 this past week in our final 1A poll. They came in at number 10 after their area sweep in the area championship over Billingsley. To win that area 6, Maplesville comes in with a 15-11 record. Keith finished as the runner-up in area 5 to University Charter. This series gets started on Thursday, tomorrow. I'm going to go with Maplesville. They have the Eli Hubbard kid who transferred in last year, committed to UAB. He will be a force on the mound, and I think he's a big part for their offense as well. Really good football player too. I think Maplesville made the state finals or state championship in football last year. I remember watching him. But he's a big time arm, committed to UAB, and they've got other pieces as well. I'm going to go with Maplesville at home to advance to the next round.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go Maplesville as well. I think it could be very convincing. This weekend, I think Maplesville's a team that we may have overlooked a little bit of late, but again, we talk about it. You get into these best 2 out of 3 series, and it's with an arm like they've got at the top, you got to like your chances, and you got to like your chances in one game for sure. And then you got to figure out how to win another one. So I'm going to go Maplesville as well. So does that wraps us up in 1A, and I don't think we had any differences, correct? No differences. So, man, we hope that changes because that makes it fun for us. But at the same time, we're not going to pick different just to take the chance of losing a game. So maybe we're both, or maybe I don't know. We'll see how we play out in 1A. I know a lot of people hope we're wrong, half the people.
Yeah.
So that'll jump us right into 2A, where again we will start in the north. The same thing as we did with 1A. Let me get to where I'm supposed to be here real quick. In 2A, getting us cranked up in the north, you've got West End. They're the winners of Area 12. They come in with a record of 15-9 and sit right outside the bubble in 2A. They went 5-1 in their area, winning that area over Cleveland. They're going to be hosting the Area 11 runner-up Sumiton Christian. Sumiton Christian comes in with a record of 8-14. They finished 3-3 in their area, losing the area to Cold Springs. This series will get started on Friday. This is a series, and Sumiton Christian is a team of late that has really made a bunch of runs. I believe they used to be 1A. Now they're up to 2A. But they've synonymous with some late postseason run, or not late, but postseason runs, period. I'm going to go, and I don't know how much I've picked against Sumiton Christian. I met some people there at Sumiton Christian a couple years ago, really nice people, and tried to pick them every chance I could. But, man, I'm going to go with West End based on their body of work this year. Again, we've got them right outside the top 10. That home field advantage, I think, plays a factor. But again, this is a matchup that Sumiton Christian could very easily win. I mean, this is one that if I'm wrong, I won't be surprised, but I'm going to stick with West End here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with West End here as well, being at home. But you talked about it. Sumiton Christian, their history of success. They won the state championship 2 or 3 years ago in Class 1A. They jumped up to 2A last year when they were ranked, I think, either inside the top 3 for the majority of this season. Graduated a strong senior class, but Reed Cornelius and Colton Glass are 2 pieces back that are pieces for the Eagles. But ultimately, I'm going to go with West End here. The body of work that they've put up across the course of the season, I'm going to go with West End at home to take a 2 of 3 series, but could see Sumiton Christian as well, going on the road and taking 2 of 3. But we're both going to side with West End here to get us started in 2A. Our next matchup, we have number 5, Red Bay, hosting the Westminster Oak Mountain. Red Bay finished as the Area 10 winner over Lamar County, while Westminster Oak Mountain finished as the Area 9 runner-up to Vincent. Red Bay comes in with an 18-5 record. Westminster Oak Mountain comes in at 11-9. Like I said, Red Bay finished at number 5 inside our top 10 poll to close out the season. I think that's the highest they've been over the course of the season, while Westminster Oak Mountain was on the bubble. This series gets started on Friday. I think Red Bay, the last 2 years, especially 2 years ago, they really came onto the scene, made a deep playoff run last year. I think they got beat by Mars Hill, I think, either the Elite Eight or Sweet 16. So they're used to playing deep into the playoffs, playing, good teams. I think they played a tough schedule as well throughout the course of the season, and I think they're on a pretty impressive winning streak, sitting at 18-5. They rolled through their area. There we go. Got our Red Bay plays Thursday, so this series will get started tomorrow. Thank you, Andy. Yep. But I'm going to go with Red Bay. Carson McGee on the top of that rotation in the middle of the order. They've got some other pieces as well that have come back from playing in deep postseason runs over the last 2 years. I think this sets them up well for another deep run. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm going to go with Red Bay at home.
I'm going to go Red Bay as well. But again, this is not a slouch of an opponent they're facing. Westminster has beaten the likes of Altamont, beat 5A Montevallo, Verbena. They've played some larger class schools, and I think that this is a formidable opponent for Red Bay. Let's see, Westminster finished runner-up in Area 9. That was to who? Vincent. Yeah. That's become a little bit of more than a little bit of a rivalry. That's a rivalry. So, I think this is a situation where Red Bay better be prepared to play, which I know they will. But I'm going to go Red Bay with you as well. Our next matchup is one that matches the Area 15 winner. You've got North Sand Mountain, a team that has really been rolling of late. They come in at number 7 in our final rankings, with a 19-7 overall record after going 4-0 in their area. They will be hosting the Area 16 runner-up. That's Decatur Heritage. Decatur Heritage lost to Lindsay Lane last week to finish runner-up in Area 16. Decatur Heritage comes in with a 10-16 record. It's been a little bit of a rebuilding year for Decatur Heritage, I think you can say, but they still have put a solid product on the field, and getting into the playoffs is a big thing. I mean, anytime you can get in the playoffs, man, that's what it's about. Is when you get in, you've got a shot, man. Listen, North Sand Mountain is a team that has quietly, I guess you can say that, quietly just gone about their business. I know they beat Collinsville twice last week, with 19 wins. I don't know. They may have even gotten their 20th win this week. I don't know if they've played or not this week.
They haven't.
But this series will get started tomorrow at 4:30. I really like North Sand Mountain here. I think that they handle business. I think they advance to the second weekend of the playoffs. This is a team, you got a team that has, again, we've talked about them. I think they've been ranked every week, but maybe the first or second week of the season. But once they've gotten in, they just they've just stayed consistent throughout the year. I think that consistency shows this week. Give me North Sand Mountain to advance.
Yeah, I'm going to take North Sand Mountain as well. You look at the strong core that's come back. North Sand Mountain has had a strong run last couple of years using this core of, Jackson Burgess, Luke Reed at the top of that order, with Luke Reed being a key arm for them. Cooper Pearson, Levi Burgess, and Carson Harvey are a few of their top players. Like you said, they beat Collinsville 2 times last week in a doubleheader. Both of those games by 1 run. So, that's a good tune-up for the playoffs, playing a really good team in Collinsville and learning how to win a close game, 2 high-scoring games. I think sets them up well here for a potential deep playoff run in 2A. I'm going to take North Sand Mountain as well to move on to the next round. They'll face the winner of our next matchup, which will be Pleasant Valley, who will be hosting Belgreen. Pleasant Valley finished as the Area 13 winner over Cedar Bluff, Gaston, Sandrock, and Donahoe. Pleasant Valley went a perfect 8-0 throughout area, while Belgreen finished as the Area 14 runner-up to Mars Hill Bible. They beat Tharptown in that three-team area. They beat Tharptown to punch their ticket to the playoffs. Pleasant Valley sits at 16-7 coming into the playoffs, while Belgreen is 14-12. Both of these teams are on the bubble. Pleasant Valley has been a team that has been in and out of our top 10. I think they've been 9 or 10 the last few weeks. Ultimately, we had a team that we wanted to get in this past week, but they're definitely a team in the north that's got a chance to make some noise. While Belgreen obviously finished as the runner-up to Mars Hill Bible. That's that's no slouches at all with how good we think Marcel Bible is. And Belgreen has definitely showed growth this year. They've had to put together a strong season with 14 wins. But I'm gonna go with Pleasant Valley, a team last year who kind of came onto the scene. I think won their area last year, and did so again this year. And I think that last year, getting to the playoffs, getting some postseason success, I think sets them up well here. I'm going to go with Pleasant Valley to get a home series win over Belgreen.
I'm going to go with Pleasant Valley as well. They get started on Thursday. Pleasant Valley of late has beaten the likes of Hope's Bluff, a quality 4A team. Spring Garden. They've been playing very well of late, beating Sand Rock in area. I like Pleasant Valley here again, a team that we've had in and out of our rankings, a team that I think will take care of business and move on to round two. Our next matchup in 2A, you've got the winners of Area 16, Lindsay Lane. Just talked about them and beating Decatur Heritage for that area title. They sit at 27-6 overall. I do think that they won this past week, so they probably got 28 wins now. After going 6-0 in area, they finished the season ranked number 4. And I'm telling you, man, they really made quite an impression on us at the Small Town Showdown. Moved up after that week, and since that week, they've been in the upper echelon of teams. In 2A, they're going to be welcoming Pisgah. They finished runner-up in Area 15 to North Sand Mountain. They went 2-2. They went 2-2 in that Area 15. They come in with a record of 12-11. Listen, no disrespect to Pisgah whatsoever, but and I probably shouldn't say this, but I was talking to Coach Morrison, Lindsay Lane's coach, 2 days ago. That's how I know they won, because he let me know that they'd played. I think they threw a no-hitter. That's what it was on Monday in a playoff tune-up. Listen, I think Lindsay Lane is a team that can make a ton of noise in 2A. I think we've talked about it when we've released our rankings each week that we think the top 4 or 5 teams in 2A are bona fide contenders. And Lindsay Lane is one of those. I do expect them to roll this week. Give me Lindsay Lane.
Yeah, I like Lindsay Lane as well. Just for the same reasons that you said. They've got a strong core. I'm blanking on I think Lane Jones, Wyatt Wallace,
Grayson Miller's back.
Miller, yeah, and they 1 through 9. I was really impressed with the depth that they have. And then on the mound, Wyatt Williams at the top of that rotation. I think that they're a team that's built, I think, for a potential run in 2 ways, while we have them ranked inside the top 4, and a reason why they've won 27 games this year. So I like Lindsay Lane Christian to roll here in the first round and advance to the next round, where they will play the winner of our next matchup. You have Area 11 winner Cold Springs hosting the Area 12 runner-up Cleveland. Cold Springs comes in with a 17-6 record, while Cleveland sits at 9-13. The series will get started on Thursday, tomorrow. Cold Springs comes in on the bubble. We look at how both these teams got here. Cold Springs, like I said, finished as the winner of their area, sweeping through their area with Falkville, Winston County, and Sumiton Christian, while Cleveland finished as the Area 12 runner-up to West End. They finished 4-2. They finished above Southeastern and Susan Moore. But you look at the body of work that Cold Springs has put together, and a team that maybe, that people like to say we're sleeping on teams, but a team maybe that we're not giving enough recognition to. Obviously, Cold Springs is at 17-6, and have just played consistent all year long. And I think having the home factor, playing at home where you're comfortable playing, I'm going to go with Cold Springs to get a first round series win over Cleveland.
I'm going to do that as well, because I like to look at, ebb and flow of the season. If you take out this past Monday, and again, we've talked about this past Monday, these games, coaches, I don't want to say they don't care about them, but coaches are playing games on Monday and Tuesday early this week simply to let pitchers get an inning of work, let hitters see live pitching. They did lose to Addison this past Monday. And again, not much stock put into that. But before that, Cold Springs has only lost once since March the 21st. And that was to Fairview, I believe it was, yes. So I think this is a team that's hot, a team that, has a lot of confidence. I like Cold Springs this week. I like them to maybe make it a couple rounds in the playoffs. I think that they're that good, but I'm going to go with them this week to advance. That gets us to our next matchup in 2A. You've got Area 9 winner Vincent. Vincent comes in with a record of 18-11, sitting right outside the bubble after going 4-0 in their area play. They will be welcoming Lamar County, who also sits right outside the bubble. They finished runner-up in Area 10 to Red Bay. Lamar County at 11-11. This series will get started on Friday. I think the biggest question here.
Yep.
The biggest question here.
How do you match them up?
How do you match up those two arms? You've got Landon Archer at Vincent, and you've got Ridge Brown at Lamar County. What are they going to do? Are they going to match up against them, or and listen, we don't know about every player at every school, and I don't know a lot of what Lamar County has behind Ridge, but I know that behind Vincent they've got behind Landon Archer, they've got Calvin Johnson and a couple other arms, but they've each got one dog that they can put on the mound. Is it going to be Landon Archer versus Ridge Brown? Nobody knows except those two coaches probably don't even know. I mean, they know who they're going to start, when they're going to start him, but that's going to be the big thing here with two teams that I think are really evenly matched. If those two arms do throw in the same game, it may be an hour and 10-minute game, 1-0. Somehow somebody scores. I don't know. I was torn on this one, but I went with home field advantage, and I went with. I know Vincent lost a lot of pieces from last year's state championship team. All right, but you still have to know how to win, and winning is in people's DNA. I went with the home team. I went with Vincent, but I'm gonna be checking Game Changer to see when those two big dogs throwing.
Yeah, I think Ridge Brown, his last two outings, I think against Red Bay, he had one hitter, give up an unearned run, no walks, and like 18 strikeouts,
and had a perfect game. I think
six inning perfect game last week. So these are probably two of the top, if not the top arms matched up in this one series. But I think maybe Vincent has a little bit more depth and I think the postseason success, like you said, they graduated a strong senior class last year, but those players that are playing now have seen what it takes to have postseason success and make those playoff runs. I'm going to go with Vincent, and being at home, I think that pushes them a little bit over the edge for me. I'm going to go with Vincent, but no doubt a big time potential pitching matchup here in the first round. We'll see how it plays out. Our last matchup in the North in Class 2A, you have number 2 Mars Hill Bible hosting Sandrock. Mars Hill Bible sits at 22-7. Sandrock comes in at 7-18. Mars Hill Bible. Well, there you go. Thank you, Sean Martin. Vincent gets started on, and I'm sure it's because we pulled these a few days ago when they were first announced before teams started making changes. So I'm sure that many of the series that start on Friday are going to be pushed back to Thursday. So thank you for those who have let us know. Let us know. But getting back to our matchup, we have Mars Hill Bible and Sandrock. Mars Hill Bible is at number 2. They finished as the winner of Area 14 over Belgreen and Tharptown. Sandrock finished as the Area 13 runner-up to Pleasant Valley. There was a 3-way tie for second. Sandrock, Gaston, and Cedar Bluff both finished at 4-4. Sandrock got that tiebreaker to get them into the playoffs. But, man, what a tough first-round draw for Sandrock. I think it's too much Mars Hill Bible here in the first-round matchup. They were preseason number 1. They held that ranking through the last couple of weeks. They dropped to 2, but that we talked about 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 2A are pretty interchangeable. Mars Hill Bible, no doubt, is one of the contenders, one of my picks to not only potentially make it to the state championship, but win the state championship. And I think that they get a sweep to start it off in 2A.
Yeah, again, no disrespect, man. I don't want, and again, that's the last thing we want to do. But Mars Hill, man, I just love I said this earlier about 3 or 4 weeks ago, their offensive approach at the plate. They all look the same. They all use the middle of the field, not scared to go to the backside. Coach Willingham does a great job hitting. They're good dude. They can win it all. So I would be crazy to go against Mars Hill Bible. Moving to the South. I think the South is pretty deep as well. We've talked about 2A. You've got the winners of Area 4. That is GW Long. The Rebels come in with an overall record of 23-7. They currently sit at number 1 in our poll. In our final poll, they will be welcoming Luverne. Luverne is 12-11. They finished as the runner-up in Area 3 to Pike Liberal Arts. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and just put this out there. I'm gonna go ahead and say I got something to say real quick. All right. I'm going with GW Long. Okay. I mean, I would be crazy not to. Again, you talk about a name that's synonymous with success. I think we say this every single year when the playoffs begin, and you see why. They've won 23 of 30 games this year, beating the likes of Enterprise and, showing well at the small town showdown, and then winning a huge area series last week, 2 out of 3. They didn't sweep, but 2 out of 3 against Ayrton, able to win that third game. I'm going to go GW Long. I mean, they can win the whole thing. But you look over at Laverne, and Laverne, that 12-11 record can be a little bit deceiving. They lost to New Brockton here recently, 16-12. They've played the likes of Charles Henderson. They lost in area to Pike Lib. We know how good Pike Lib is. I think this Laverne team may be a little bit better than people think they are, but too much GW Long, man. I'm going with the Rebels. Go ahead.
So go ahead and pick them then.
I'm not. I'll make it quick. Give me GW Long.
Yeah,
I can't pick against GW Long, man. We know why.
Yeah, I'm going to go GW Long as well. It's wash and repeat. With GW Long every single year, making finishing. It seems like them and Ayrton are consistently 2 of the top teams in the South every single year, and that There's some good teams in the South, but I think GW Long and Ayrton, obviously we have them ranked inside of our top 4. We think very highly of those 2 teams. And a reason why we have GW Long at number 1, they beat Enterprise 2 weeks ago and followed it up with a series win over Ayrton to win that area championship. I'm going to go with GW Long here to advance to a place that they've getting accustomed to being. That's in the deep rounds of the playoffs here. They will match up with the winner of the next matchup. We have Area 2 winner Cottonwood. They'll be hosting JU Blackshire, who finished as the Area 1 runner-up. Cottonwood finished, like I said, as the Area 2 winner over Geneva County and Sampson, while Blackshire finished as the runner-up with a 6-2 record in area behind Bayshore Christian and 7-1 and finished above. That was that Area 1 with Bayshore Christian, St. Luke's, and Blackshire. That's St. Luke's Episcopal. It was a team who got left out at 4-4, but they're led by Cooper Frampton. And Blackshire was able to finish above them. So I think that speaks to how good Blackshire is. Both of these teams finished on the bubble in our final 2A poll. This series says it gets started on Friday. I'm not sure. It could have been moved to Thursday. Maybe at Friday with the location maybe being a little bit souther. I'm not sure, but. I'm going to go with Blackshire. This may be the first matchup that we pick against each other. I don't know. I don't know your picks or what you're doing, but Blackshire, I think finishing, the 2 teams who made that area, who came out of that Area 1, I think we're going to have a chance regardless of, whoever it was, because that was a tough 5-team area. Blackshire finished as the runner-up by 1 game behind Bayshore Christian. I'm going to go with them to go on the road and get a tightly contested series win at Cottonwood, a team that's had, last year had a really good playoff run, lost a couple senior pieces, but have continued to play really good down the stretch, has Cottonwood, but I'm going to go with the away team. I'm going to go with Blackshire.
This was a bubble game for me. I had a bubble series for me. I had a tough time picking it, but finally we're going to be different on one. I'm going to go with Cottonwood, man. I think that their schedule this year has prepared them for this. I'm going to go them to get this. I'm going to go with them to get this series win. So finally, we've got a series that we split. Austin went Blackshear. I went with Cottonwood. Moving on to our next series in 2A, you've got Tuscaloosa Academy. They come in ranked number 9 with an overall 14-11 record. They're winners of Area 7. They defeated Isabella in that region, or that area. They will be hosting the runner-up of Area 8. That's Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend comes in with a record of 14-7. They finished 2-2 in their area. They sit right outside the top 10. Listen, this is two teams that we think highly of. We've got one ranked 9, one right outside the top 10. But I'm going with Tuscaloosa Academy, and here's why. Their Tuscaloosa Academy's schedule this year looks to be like that they've scheduled to prepare themselves for this. You know, I've told a lot of people that Birmingham area and even Tuscaloosa now, the quality of baseball in that Tuscaloosa area right now is maybe at an all-time high. And Tuscaloosa Academy has played the likes of American Christian and others around there. And for that reason, I'm going to go Tuscaloosa Academy. And I do want to make sure that you mark Tuscaloosa Academy as a team to continue to follow moving forward. Give me Tuscaloosa Academy.
Yeah, it seems like the past couple of years, don't want to say we've written them off, but maybe not had them ranked as high coming into the playoffs. And I think, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, they beat Ayrton or GW. Maybe
somebody good. Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, Tuscaloosa Academy is always a name that you need to watch, regardless of the year, regardless of the season that they've had, because you know that they're going to play the top teams in that Tuscaloosa area, like you said. And I think that strength of schedule pays the dividends here. I'm going to go with the home team as well in Tuscaloosa Academy. Our next matchup, you have got the Area 5 winner in Highland Home. They will be hosting Area 6 runner-up Lochapoka. Highland Home sits at 14-8 and finished just outside the bubble in our recent 2A poll. Lochapoka comes in with a 4-4 record. Like I said, this will be at Highland Home. This series gets started today. One of the few series that gets started today gets started at 2 o'clock. So in 3 hours. I'm going to go with Highland Home here. I think that, no disrespect to Lochapoka, Highland Home being at home, winning that area they beat Calhoun to win that area. I'm going to go with Highland Home here. Won 14 games. Being at home, I think, is important for this series. I'm going to go with them to advance.
Is Highland Home, is that the Flying Squadron? Isn't that right?
That's right. That's Roll Tide Willie.
That's the only question. Will Roll Tide Willie be there? So.
Letahatchee? Is that Hitler? Is that I may be wrong?
I'm not sure, but yeah, Highland Home. I'm gonna go Highland Home as well. Again, winners of Area 5. Give me Highland Home to advance there as well. So continuing with our next matchup in 2A, you've got number 6 ranked Ranburn. Make sure I'm not out of order. Yeah, I'm good. You've got number 6 Ranburn. They come in with a record of 22-10-1. They did tie one game this year. They're winners of Area 8. They went undefeated in their area. They will be welcoming Isabella. Isabella finished runner-up to Tuscaloosa Academy. A overall record of 11-13. This series will get started on Friday. Listen, man, I think Isabella's had a good year, but you look at their scores against Tuscaloosa Academy, pretty convincing fashion for Tuscaloosa Academy. I think Ranburn is along those lines of a Tuscaloosa Academy. I think it's too much Ranburn this week as it gets started on Friday. Ranburn's been ranked pretty much all year long, right in the heart of our order. I think they continue their successful season. Give me them to advance to round 2.
Yeah, I think too much Ranburn as well. They played, Piedmont, Alexandria, Valley. Valley was the one team that they tied back in February. But they played some good teams in the central eastern part of the state. I played Munford. I think it's too much Ranburn here being on the road and have them ranked at number 6 for a reason. I think that they're built for a potential postseason run. I'm going to go with them to get off on the good start here to the playoffs to advance to the next round.
I've got a question mark by the next matchup, just so you know.
Yep. Our next matchup, we have probably the premier matchup of the first round of the state playoffs in Class 2A. You have Pike Liberal Arts playing host to Ayrton. This is number 8 versus number 3. Pike Lib is number 8. Ayrton comes in at number 3. Pike Lib comes in with a 17-12 record. Winners of Area 3 over Laverne, Zion Chapel, and Goshen, while we talked about it, Ayrton finished as the runner-up to GW Long in Area 4. Ayrton sits at 24-7. Pike Lib's at 17-12. And this was a big reason. It's going to be a tough draw for Pike Liberal Arts either way, whether it was Ayrton or GW Long in the first round. But this was a year it was important to win that area, like GW Long did. Because you're not having to play Pike Liberal Arts out of the gate. But it is what it is. You could have played them, whether you play them in the Elite 8, Sweet 16, or the first round, you're gonna have to play them regardless. So a premier matchup in the southern part of the state, a matchup we plan to have someone at covering that series at Pike Liberal Arts that gets started on Friday. Pike Liberal Arts last year finished as the runner-up in that Class 2A state championship, made a good run, and just have lost some pieces from that team last year, but just have seemed to continue to have that same success. They've been inside the top 10 all year long, same as Ayrton, who we got to see at the Small Town Showdown. Ayrton is very deep lineup. Addison's in at the top of that rotation when he's on. He's as good as it gets in Class 2A. And Easton Kilpatrick behind him. And I'm not going to get into the offense because 1 through 9, I was really impressed with the balance and the depth that they have. I'm going to go with the road team here. I'm going to go with Ayrton. I'm going to go with the Purple Cats. Don't want to say they struggled down the stretch because last week we were talking about how hot they were coming into the playoffs. I think they had tons of 10-run victories. They lost that 2 out of 3 series to GW Long in what was 3 really close games. So they didn't come in struggling out of the gate or come into the playoffs struggling. But I'm going to go with Ayrton here. They've consistently been the top 2, 3, 4 teams in the state in Class 2A all year long. And they're going to go into a tough environment at Pike Liberal Arts, which is a place that's used to playoff baseball and having good postseason atmospheres. But I'm going to go with the Purple Cats to go on the road and get a big series win in what we have marked as the top matchup in 2A in the first round.
Austin, can you introduce the next series, please? Somehow my sheet got messed up. I got the wrong teams there. So if you could take that one, I would take the next one.
Yeah.
All right. You went Ayrton.
Yeah.
Listen, this is an absolute toss-up to me. Love the Purple Cats. Loved watching them at the Small Town Showdown. Pike Lib, notorious for winning. I'm gonna go, and I don't want the Ayrton people to get all mad at me, but I'm gonna go Pike Lib for one reason only, because I want us to be different for a matchup like this. And listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not going to give an excuse. Well, I just picked it for this or picked it for that. But this is truly a matchup that can go either way. I mean, it is a legitimate toss-up. Pike Lib, numerous AI-SA state championships. Ayrton, synonymous with 2A baseball. Watching Ayrton at the Small Town Showdown this year, I liked how hard-nosed and competitive they were, and that's led at the top. Okay, Coach Pickett does a great job there. I know, they're well coached and they're built for the long run. But I'm going to go Pike Road simply so that Austin and I, one of us is going to win it, one of us is going to lose it. But again, the premier matchup in 2A, without it, I ain't going to say without a doubt, but it is a premier matchup in 2A. So give me Pike Road just to go against Austin.
Our next matchup, we have one second. We have the Area 1 winner in Bayshore Christian playing host to the Area 2 runner-up in Geneva County. Bayshore Christian playing really well as of late, coming in with the 14-7 record. They made their debut inside the top 10 this past week in our polls. They sit at 14-7, and I know, like I said, they won that Area 1 over St. Luke's and Blackshear. They come in riding. They haven't lost since April 1st. I think they've won 7 or 8 in a row, and one of those wins being Bayside Academy on April 6th. So Bayshore Christian continuing, as has been the trend as of late for the past few years, playing really well when playoff baseball comes around. They'll be playing host to Geneva County, who finished as the Area 2 runner-up behind Cottonwood. They beat Sampson to punch their ticket to the playoffs. I'm gonna go with Bayshore Christian. Bayshore Christian is a team who over the last few years, I think they won the state championship in 1A 4 or 5 years ago. Since then, they've been knocking on the door to potentially making it back to another state championship series. Haven't quite gotten there, but this year, Bayshore Christian has, like I said, been playing really well down the stretch. Winners of 7 or 8 in a row, riding a good winning streak and playing at home. I like Bayshore Christian in this first round matchup.
I do as well. I don't know what happened on my sheet, Austin. I have no clue what happened. But I'm going to go with Bayshore Christian as well for the reasons that you said. They played really well back half of the season, really all year, but they've played really well towards the back half. So, man, I like them to advance to round 2, where if they do, whoever wins that series will then face off with the winners of our final series in 2A. You've got the winners of Area 6. You've got Reeltown. They come in sitting right outside the bubble in our top 10 with a 15-11 record. Reeltown went a perfect 4-0 in Area 6. They're hosting the Area 5 runner-up Calhoun. Calhoun went 0-2 in that. That's a 2-team area in baseball. They went 2-6 overall. They're 2-6 overall. I think this is I don't want to go too much in depth here. I think this is one where Reeltown just dominates. I think that they, I think it's too much Reeltown. I don't want to go too much into depth here. I think it's Reeltown all day in this matchup. Yeah, this one gets cranked up on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to go Reeltown as well. I think they take the series in 2 games. Jamarcus Smith, Reed Wood, a few of the key pieces for Reeltown. I think that they get off to a series sweep and advance to the next round.
And just for our listeners, we're an hour and 15 minutes in. We're through 2 classes. We got 4 to go. We're going to try to keep moving as we can. We know you're waiting for your classifications. We're going to and we don't want to slight anyone, but we're going to try to keep this thing rolling right along as we get into 3A.
We move to Class 3A and start in the north. Our first matchup, you've got the Area 12 winner in JB Pennington. They'll be playing host to the Area 11 runner-up in Glencoe. Pennington comes in with a 15-10 record, while Glencoe sits at 12-20. Pennington finished on the bubble in our final 3A poll this past week. This series gets started tomorrow on Thursday. Pennington won their area over Vinemont, Lucas Fork, Holy Pond, and Hanceville, while Glencoe finished behind Piedmont and won the deciding Game 3 over Ohatchee, that tiebreaker to punch their ticket to the playoff. I'm going to go with JB Pennington here. Being at home, they rolled through their area, and no slight to Glencoe being in that 3-team area. They showed they had they could win that deciding Game 3 when it mattered, and they're have played some good competition with Piedmont and some other teams in that area, but ultimately I think Piedmont playing at home, I'm going to go with them.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going Piedmont. I'm going Pennington as well. There in the first matchup in 3A there. Again, I like their overall body of work. We've got them right outside the top 10 in a deep. We've talked about the 3A class this year as well. So give me Pennington. That'll get us to our next matchup where we've got the winners of Area 10, the Green Wave of Gordo. And this is an area that we talked about how strong it was.
We didn't even pick Piedmont. We're not even talking about Piedmont. She said I'm going with Piedmont too.
Who is this? Who is this person?
Oh, I know who that person in the profile picture is.
I got you. She's going with Piedmont,
We ain't
Tell her
talked about Piedmont.
Tell her to hold off to the next classification. Oh, that's awesome. So let's get back at it. Lost my train of thought there. But Area 10, Gordo won that in pretty dominating fashion. They finished at 24-7. I do think they played maybe Demopolis this past Monday and lost, but again, we're not worried about those. The games this week they're not being attributed to in the record. The Greenway finished the season ranked number 2. And before this past Monday, they had not lost since March the 25th, man. They have been rolling. They welcome the runners-up of Area 9, Walter Wellborn. Walter Wellborn finished runner-up to Weaver. They both finished with identical 4-2 records. Walter Wellborn lost that tiebreaker game. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Gordo, it's going to be surprising if they don't make a run here. And I don't mean a run to the state championship. It's going to be surprising if we're not talking about Gordo for several weeks. Really like that team. We talked last year. They were mostly sophomores. They're all back this year. They're still fairly young. Winning is important there. I think there's 2 questions to be answered this week. Is the blue cooler going to be there? And is there going to be a flyover? Yes. Those are the 2 questions. Are we going to have the blue cooler, and is the flyover going to be there? Again, no offense to Walter Wellborn. Listen, Gordo is talented. Gordo's for real. Give me the green wave.
Yeah, tough matchup out of the gate for Wellborn. Gordo comes back with potential maybe unfinished business after finishing as the runner-up to Glenwood last year in the state championship. You mentioned it. They got a ton back from that team last year. They started at number 2 in our preseason poll, and they finished at number 2. They're obviously one of the top contenders, we think, in the North. I'm going to go with them to take this series and move on to the next round. So give me the green wave as well. Our next matchup, we have the Area 15 runner-up in Elkmont. They will be playing host to the Area 16 runner-up in Clements. Elkmont comes in at 22-9. Clements sits at 14-16. Elkmont, like I said, finished as the 15 runner-up over Whitesburg Christian. They both finished 5-1, but Elkmont won that deciding game 3, while Clements finished behind Lauderdale County in that area and beat Rogers to punch their ticket as the runner-up to the playoffs. Elkmont, with that 22-9 record, they finished outside the bubble, and they've been on the cusp of breaking into the top 10. They've been in that mix of teams that we've been looking at all year long. They finished on the bubble, but make no doubt, at 22-9, they're certainly a team to watch in the North. For that, I think that they continue to ride the momentum. They've won 22 games and have been playing well as of late, winning that area. Whitesburg Christian is a team who's the past few years have had plenty of postseason success, and for Elkmont to be able to win that area, I think just speaks to the strength of Elkmont and how well that they're playing. Give me Elkmont at home to advance.
I'm going to go Elkmont as well. That's a good team. You mentioned the Whitesburg Christian, the win over Whitesburg Christian, having to go to 3 games. They won game 1 in the bottom of the 7th. I think they scored like 5 or 6 runs. Did Elkmont drop game 2, but then won game 3. So Elkmont finished up as winner of that area and was able to host the first round. I'm going to go with them. Moving on to our next matchup, you've got the winners of Area 13. That's Collinsville. They went 6-0 in the area and went 22-5 on the year. They currently sit at number 3, and they've been up there all year long. They've been as steady as anybody across the classification. They're hosting the runners-up of Area 14, Colbert Heights, who comes in with a record of 12-18. As far as we know, this series is scheduled to get cranked up on Friday unless it's changed due to weather. This is another one I don't want to talk too much about. Again, Colbert Heights, they finished runner-up in Area 14 to Phil Campbell. Colbert Heights went 4-2. Colbert Heights is a good team. But there's just some teams that I think that have separated themselves in 3A, and I think Collinsville is one of those teams. At home, it's tough to win up there at Collinsville. I'm going to go with Collinsville. They have, they've played a tough schedule this year and continue to hold that a very impressive record. Give me Collinsville.
Yeah, I think just Collinsville was ranked 2 weeks ago. They lost 2 games to North Sand Mountain, but we both said, yeah, they lost 2 games, but we're looking at the overall body of work, the success that they had throughout the course of the season. We didn't drop them too far. We kept them at 3. I like Collinsville as well. Like you, they have a really strong class of players, especially in that 27, that junior class, who have been playing since they've been 8th graders and freshmen, and have continued each year to continue to improve. And I think this year and next year, Collinsville is a real potential threat in the North. And I like them to get a series win at home and advance to the Sweet 16 in 3A. So give me Collinsville in this matchup. Our next matchup is a sneaky good matchup. 2 teams who are used to having postseason success. That's the Area 16 winner, Lauderdale County. They'll be playing host to the Area 15 runner-up in Whitesburg Christian. Lauderdale County sits at 19-14, and that 19-14 record may not jump out to you, but throughout the first few weeks of the season, I think their basketball team was playing. They had some players that were out on their basketball that were still playing, so they took some lumps.
State semifinalist, yeah.
So they took some lumps throughout the first few weeks of the season. I know they had a losing record, but to get back to where they are now at 19-14, I think speaks to how well that they've continued to play throughout the course of the season. They swept through their area with relative ease. And then Whitesburg Christian, they sit at 12-14, but they have some pieces as well. Obviously, losing Luke Holbrook from last year hurts for the top of that rotation, but they've been able to piece it together. And both these teams come in sitting on the bubble, but these are 2 teams who have have history of making it into the deeper rounds of the state playoffs. This may be an upset. For some reason, I think I'm going to go with Whitesburg Christian here.
Oh,
yeah. People, I don't know who you're going to pick. I feel like you're going to pick Lauderdale County. People don't get on here to see us pick the same team, so I'm going to go. And again, you may pick Lauderdale County, or you may pick Whitesburg Christian, but I'm going to go with Whitesburg Christian to go on the road, and get a series win. But if you're a Whitesburg Christian fan, I know you've told some of those fans, get the bologna sandwich at Lauderdale County.
That's what I was going to say. I am going to go with Lauderdale County. This was a back and forth decision for me. I originally sided with Whitesburg Christian and then decided to go with the home team. I'm going to go Lauderdale County. I do think this is a toss-up. That's a quality Whitesburg Christian team on the road. And I was going to say 2 things for this game. Number 1, make sure you get that it's smoked bologna sandwich. And then, last week I sent out a thing on a bat boy at Coleman. Check out Whitesburg Christian's bat boy too, man. He does some work. Little Utley. Yeah, he'll be doing work. I'm going to go Lauderdale County. I'm glad we split that one because I think that's one worthy of splitting.
Split.
Yep, it does. Moving right along, Area 11 winners, the Piedmont Bulldogs. Piedmont went 4-0 in area, finished at 22-6 and a number 4 state rankings. They're going to be hosting the runners-up of Area 12. That is Vinemont, coming with the record of 11-17 and a area record of 5-3 and a 5-team area. This series will get started on Friday. As I mentioned, Piedmont comes in at number 4 with the final ranking to end the season. Vinemont has put together a solid season. They did lose 3 games in area in that 5-team area, but we've talked about this before. We've said these exact words before. Winning is in the DNA at Piedmont, and that's in just about everything in all sports there. And that to reel off 22 wins this year with the schedule they play has been impressive. They are tough to beat at home. I think last year they dropped the first round at home to Gordo, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. I'm not sure. I think that's what happened. And so I'm sure that left a bad taste in their mouth. And I think Piedmont has been on a mission this year. Give me Piedmont. Give me the Bulldogs to roll this weekend.
Yeah, I like Piedmont as well. Last year, I think maybe didn't go the way that they had hoped for. This year seems like you said, they've come back on a mission. They've played motivated. They've played well all year long at 22-6. They've been inside the top 10 for pretty much the majority of the season. Give me Piedmont as well to advance to the next round. Our next matchup, we have the Area 9 winner, Weaver. They'll be playing host to the Area 10 runner-up at Oakman. Weaver finished at 14-10, while Oakman finished at 19-13. This series gets started on Friday at Weaver. We've seen Wellborn finished in that as that Area 9 winner over. I think it may have been a tie,
a three-way tie with Randolph
County, Wellborn, and Weaver finished as a three-way tie. Ultimately, it was Weaver winning that area. Wellborn finished as the runner-up. Oakman started 4-0, beat swept Carbon Hill and Winfield, and then Gordo was able to take the series against Winfield. So Oakman finished as the runner-up. I'm gonna go with the O. Give me Oakman to go on the road here. I think I'm not saying it was a surprise, but it was for Oakman to sweep Winfield, a Winfield team that we had ranked up until that point all year long. I think was a statement series win for me, and saw them play in the small town showdown. It seems like they've continued to get better year after year. Coach Hall does a great job, and is one of the good guys in the coaching profession. A guy we consider a good friend of ours. I'm going to go with Oakman to go on the road, and to get a series win.
I'm going to go with Oakman as well, and we're both going with the road team. We talked about that Area 10, man. That Area 10 prepares you for the playoffs, and you mentioned having to play Gordo, having to beat Winfield to get in. I think that says a lot about Oakman. I'm going to go with Oakman to go on the road this week and get that win as well and advance to round 2. The next one, this one may not catch a lot of hot headlines, but I think this is a good matchup as well. You've got Area 14 winner. You've got Phil Campbell. They come in with a record of 21-11. They went 5-1 in their area, defeating Colbert Heights, Colbert County, and Sheffield. They will be Phil Campbell made their debut this past week at number 9 in our state rankings. They will be hosting the runner-up of Area 13. That's Geraldine. Geraldine comes in with a record of 19-8, and they currently sit on the bubble, and I think they've been on the bubble all year long. They finished runner-up to Collinsville in that Area 13. And I know one of the games was a really close game against Collinsville, and I saw Geraldine early in the year, and that is a really, really offensive club. They've got some guys in there headlined by Jordan Langford, and we're trying to keep from talking about players as much this week. We'll do that more as we get into the in-depth recap of the first round. But if you haven't seen Jordan Langford swing it, he's worth the price of admission to begin with. But this has the makings to be a really, really interesting matchup in round 1. And I am, as you can see, you may not can tell right now, but I'm typing in right now. I'm going to make my pick live on air. What might be an upset, and the Phil Campbell people may not like it, but I'm going to go with Geraldine to go on the road and get a win. And it could be a little bit of an upset. But again, if I'm wrong and Phil Campbell wins, I'm not going to be surprised in the least. I think this is a sneaky good matchup to follow.
Dang, I thought you were going to go Phil Campbell. Already had Geraldine penciled in. I'll go Phil Campbell. We'll split this one.
You're going to swap it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But if Geraldine wins, I'd have Geraldine out first. So I'll go Phil Campbell. I'll go with the home team. They've won 21 games. It's not hard to sway me to the other side. I think that speaks to how close this matchup is. Give me the home team that's won 21 games, or the road team that's got big time offensive bats in that order that's won 19 out of 27 games. So evenly matched series. We'll see how it finishes, but we'll split this series. We move to the South in 3A. We have the Area 4 winner in Thomasville playing host to Area 3 runner-up Hillcrest Evergreen. Thomasville comes in at 17-8. Hillcrest sits at 9-12. Like I said, Thomasville finished as the winner of Area 4 over Dallas County, Southside Selma, and Wilcox Central, while Hillcrest finished as the Area 3 runner-up behind Excel and Monroe County. I'm going to go with Thomasville here. They sit on the bubble at 17-8, but They were in our rankings early in the season, but they sit at 17-8. It's a good record. I think they played some really good teams. I think they played Faith Academy or Saraland. I forget. Maybe I played both, but played one of those teams. They've played some good competition, and to be 17-8 at this point of the season, I think that they get off to the right foot here in the playoffs, and I think that they beat Thomasville.
Or you mean they beat Hillcrest?
Yes. They beat Hillcrest. Give me Thomasville.
Yeah, I'm going to go Thomasville as well. I think this could be very convincing. We'll wait and see. Very well could be wrong. That series that gets cranked up on Friday. Give me Thomasville to advance to the second round. Our next matchup features Providence Christian. They won Area 2, going undefeated in that area. They are right outside the bubble. They have an overall record of 9-15. They're hosting Area 1 runner-up T.R. Miller. T.R. Miller comes in with the exact same record, 9-15, after finishing runner-up to Cottage Hill Christian in a three-way area where all three teams went 2-2. So obviously highly competitive area play there. T.R. Miller also sits on the outside, right outside on the bubble, looking in the top 10. You know, when I was looking at this one, you know, some of these matchups I went and I was able to just quickly type in my winner, who I think is going to win. You know, a lot of them, 75% of them, to be honest with you. But there were some I went and looked at game changers and everything to see how things were wrapping up in the last 10 games. And what I saw, and again, this means nothing, is that Providence Christian, although they both have the same record, I think these are two similar teams. Providence Christian has been hot of late, and T.R. Miller has really finished probably not like they wanted to. And so I'm going to go with the hot team here. Again, I went back and forth. T.R. Miller could very well go on the road and get this dub, but I'm going to go Providence Christian at home because I think they're playing their best in the last week and a half.
Yeah, Providence Christian, I think maybe a team, a successful program, but a team that maybe didn't get off to a great start. Obviously it didn't have a great record, but last week I think was a statement win, took the attention of us, beating Wicksburg, sweeping Wicksburg in that area series. I'm going to go with Providence Christian to continue their trend of playing well as of late. Give me Providence Christian as well in this matchup. Our next matchup in the South, we have the Area 7 winner. We have number 6 Thorsby playing host to the Area 8 runner-up Childersburg. Thorsby finished as the area winner over the likes of Hale County, Sumter Central, and Greensboro, while Childersburg finished as the runner-up in Area 8 behind the Altamont, Midfield, and B.B. Comer. Thorsby sits at 21-7 coming into this matchup, while Childersburg is 11-16. This series is slated to get started on Friday. I'm going to go with Thorsby. I think Thorsby is they've been in and out. Seems like each week they're in and out of our top 10, but they've made their biggest jump. They finished at the highest point that they've been all year long at number 6 in our final poll. Winning 21 games. They played some really good teams in that Montgomery area, surrounding areas. I'm going to go with Thorsby to take this series at home over Childersburg.
I'm going to go with Thorsby as well. The body of work there is impressive for Thorsby. I think that they take care of business this week. I'm going to take them as well to move on to round 2. Next matchup, another interesting one. You've got the Area 5 winner, St. James. They come in with a record of 14-14. They did go 4-2 in a very competitive area with the likes of Montgomery Academy, Prattville Christian, and Alabama Christian. St. James was able to come out of that as the winner. They finished the season right outside. They were ranked early in our top 10, but finished the season on the outside, right outside, looking in on the bubble. They will be hosting the runner-up of Area 6. That's the Lee Scott Academy. Lee Scott Academy went 20-10, a very impressive overall record across the season. They did finish runner-up in that Area 6, and that was an area runner-up to the number 1 team in the state, Glenwood. Lee Scott went 4-2 with their only losses coming to Glenwood in a matchup that we previewed on a podcast earlier, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Lee Scott currently sits at number 5. They've pretty much been in that area all year. I think they may have been as high as 3 or 4, but they've been right there in the thick of our top 10 all year long. This one has the makings. And I think if you would have thrown this at me about 3 weeks ago, I'd have thought, man, Lee Scott's going to kill them. But a credit to St. James is that the last 2 weeks, man, they've been playing very well. And I think I looked on the Game Changer. They've won like 5 of their last 7 coming into the playoffs, with a 1-run loss to Prattville Christian and another loss to Alabama Christian. They were able to win those series. But again, that's a team that's peaking right now, it seems. If you've paid attention to our social channels, Itawamba recruit Charlie Cutler was just named our Player of the Week this past week for just a huge offensive performance, 4 home runs, including 2 grand slams. Man, I'd love to go with St. James, but I'm going to go with the visiting team here. I'm going with Lee Scott. I think that they are complete. I think they pitch it well. They move their ball around offensively. I think it's a good team. I think they're good. I think, again, St. James is playing the best they played all year, in my opinion. But I like Lee Scott, have liked him all year. I'm going to go with the Warriors.
Yeah, I think, and one of that loss to Prattville Christian late in the last, I think, few days ago, I think St. James had already had that area championship wrapped up, and it was I think Prattville Christian scored like 7 or 8 runs in the bottom of the 7th. And St. James is definitely playing the best that they've played all year long. They're peaking at the right time, which is, you want to be playing your best baseball right now. I think this is a strength versus strength. You talked about Charlie Cutler. They've also got Jimmy Dickens, who's a really good uncommitted 2026. I think they're a really offensive club. And then you match them up with Lee Scott Academy's pitching rotation. They've got their deep stable of arms. Does Lee Scott Academy have? I'm going to side with Lee Scott Academy as well, going on the road. Series could go either way. Back in St. James, I think we had ranked preseason top 3. But I'm going to go with Lee Scott Academy. I think they have just enough pitching depth, and I think they score enough runs to take 2 out of 3 and move on to what's going to be what is one of the top series in Class 3A to get us started in Week 1. Our next matchup, we have the Altamont School playing host to Hale County. The Altamont School finished as the Area 8 winner over Childersburg, BB Comer, and Midfield. Hale County finished as the Area 7 runner-up to Thorsby. The Altamont School comes in at 12-11. They sit at number 8 in our final top 10 poll. Hale County sits at 9-12. Give me Altamont here in this matchup, being at home. You saw the Altamont School. They've played the likes of Helena. They've played Oak Mountain. They've played Hewitt-Trussville twice. And just to be able to have a winning record at this point with the schedule that they've played, after talking to you, I know that, they're and we've seen their lineup, seen players at different events throughout the summer. They're a very offensive club, and I think that their offense carries them to a first-round series win here.
Yeah, they put that schedule together just for this reason beginning this weekend. So I'm going to go Altamont as well. Again, no disrespect towards Hale County, but give me Altamont. Moving on to our next matchup, Excel. They come in with a record of 22-7 after winning Area 3 with a perfect 4-0 record. They finished the season ranked at number 7. They jumped in late in the season and have been ranked for about the last 2 or 3 weeks. Again, they finished at number 7. They're hosting Dallas County. Dallas County finished as the runner-up in Area 4. They went 4-2, losing to Thomasville. So Thomasville won that area. Dallas County finished runner-up at 6-11. This is another situation a lot like the last one we talked about with Altamont. I think it's too much XL here. I think XL dominates here. I think that we see XL moving to round 2. Give me XL.
Yeah, I'm going with XL as well. Trent Williams, a really good 2026 uncommitted player, has been a big-time piece for them. I think it's too much XL as well. We'll both take XL to move on here in this first-round matchup. Got 2 more here in the South in 3A. Our next matchup, we have the Area 1 winner, Cottage Hill Christian.
What word were you about to use there?
Penultimate.
Yeah, that's impressive, man.
It started to come out, but then I didn't want to sound like that's what I thought it was. But penultimate matchup in Class 3A. You have the Area 1 winner in Cottage Hill Christian. They're playing host to the Area 2 runner-up in Wicksburg. Cottage Hill Christian finished right at number 10 in our final preseason poll. They broke in after 2 weeks ago and finished at number 10. Wicksburg has been in and out. Like they've been as high as 6 or 7. and they finished outside the bubble after dropping their area championship to Providence Christian last week, but are no doubt one of the more talented teams in the South in Class 3A. This series gets started down at Cottage Hill Christian on Friday. Cottage Hill Christian, you talked about it when we talked about T.R. Miller. Those three teams in that area finished at 2-2, but Cottage Hill Christian, I think, won the game 3 over T.R. Miller to win that area championship, while Wicksburg, like I said, finished behind Providence Christian with a 4-2 record in that area play. I think this is another series that may deserve a split. I don't know what you're going to pick, but I'm going to go with the home team in Cottage Hill Christian. I think they've got a good freshman, Kirkwood, I think is his last name. Finn Kirkwood. I may be messing that up. But they've got other pieces as well. They've played really well down the stretch. They played Baker this past week in a tune-up game. They didn't have an area series. Only lost 4-2. And that's a 7A team. Give me Cottage Hill Christian in a series I could see going either way. But I think Cottage Hill Christian gets it done in 3 games.
Yeah, you're right. We feel the same about all these. That the ones that I think we're torn about the same series. I wanted to go Cottage Hill Christian. Very well could be wrong. I'm going to go Wicksburg. We've had that team ranked all year long. I know we've got Cottage Hill Christian right now. Wicksburg, don't want to use the word stumbled to the line, but did lose that series to Providence Christian. I still think that's a really good team, as is Cottage Hill. We're going to split this one. I'm going to go with the road team. Give me Wicksburg this week in a matchup that I don't feel just completely comfortable taking Wicksburg, but I'm going to go with them. And again, we need to split that one anyway. Wrapping us up in 3A, you've got the number 1 ranked team, the Gators, and defending 3A state champs. You've got the Gators of Glenwood. They won Area 6. We talked about that previously, going 6-0. They currently sit at 24-7. This series will get cranked up on Friday. Again, Glenwood is our number 1 team and has been number 1 all year long. They will be welcoming Montgomery Academy, who finished runner-up in Area 5. We talked about that tough Area 5 with Montgomery Academy, St. James, Prattville Christian, and Alabama Christian. Montgomery Academy finished 18-14. I know that you have seen both of these teams this year. You talked about, obviously everybody knows that Glenwood's good. You also talked about how good you thought Montgomery Academy was and has gotten. They've shown some improvements over the last couple of years. And listen, they've had a great season, but I think it's, listen, Glenwood's a bona fide contender. We've had them number 1 all year. I don't think it's a surprise that we take Glenwood. Listen, Montgomery Academy is going to be a tough out. There's no doubt about it, but I would be crazy not to go Glenwood. Give me the Gators this weekend.
Yeah, Montgomery Academy. I think the first 3 or 4 hitters in their lineup, I think, are really good. With McBride, William Marks, I think the Hagler kid. But Glenwood, I think, is pretty complete. Not last year, I think that they were a juggernaut. This year, they're still really good. May not have the same. They don't have a Mason McCrane, is what I'm trying to say. But they still got pieces back from that team last year. I think I had Montgomery Academy as my breakout team. Don't want to toot my own horn, but finished as my breakout team in the 3A preview we did at the start of the season. Now they've got a tough first-round draw this week. Glenwood, and I'm going to go with Glenwood as well. Tough to go against our number 1 team. That's the defending state champs. So I'm going to go with Glenwood here to finish this up in 3A. Halfway done at 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Oh, geez. So we got to speed this bad boy up. I got things to do.
We'll start in 4A in the north. Our first matchup, we've got the Area 12 winner, number 6 Alexandria. They'll be playing host to an Etowah team that finished as the Area 11 runner-up. Alexandria sits at 22-10, while Etowah is 16-5. Alexandria finished our 4A poll at number 6, while Etowah was just outside on the bubble. But playing really, really well as of late. I think you taught. I'm going to make my pick now. Alexandria, they've been in and out of our top 10. Alexandria, they won the state championship. Was it 2 years ago? Lost a lot of seniors from that team. Last year was a little bit of a rebuilding year.
Coach Welch came in from right field to dog pile.
Oh yeah. And then they've last year kind of had a little bit of a rebuilding year, and this year they've seemed to be right on track. They're at 22-10, ranked at number 6. You look at Etowah; they were preseason ranked, I think, in our top 5, and it's the same story every year for Etowah. They're going to play a very difficult schedule. They're probably going to, they're playing top Mississippi teams, top Alabama teams. They may take lumps, but when it gets this time of the year, they seem to always be clicking at the right time. This may be an upset. I'm gonna go with the Blue Devils of Etowah. I wouldn't be comfortable picking either team. Just something about it tells me to pick Etowah. Just give me Etowah.
Man, I'm with you, man. I mean, I went back and forth on this. I went to see Westbrook and Etowah when they played, and it's the same Etowah. I mean, they're hard nosed. They're going to get after you. They're going to compete. They're going to be coached well. But then you look at Alexandria, and it's the same thing. I think these two programs mirror each other. Yep. They're notorious for postseason success. They've got guys at the top of their, they got coaches that know what they're doing, and that I think they coach them hard. They love them hard. I have a lot of respect for both these coaches. I'm going to go with Alexandria. I sided with the home field barely. Again, I could easily go Etowah. Because Etowah, I think they've won 6 of 8, including beating Hazel Green and some other very good programs of late. But I'm going to go Alexandria by the slimmest of margins. Again, I will not be surprised if I'm wrong. So we'll get cranked up in 4A with the mixed result there with our first matchup. Our second matchup, you've got Fayette County. They were winners of Area 10. Let me get back to where I'm supposed to be. Hold up just a second. They were winners of Area 10, going 6-0 in that area. They have a current 17-13 record, finished outside the bubble, outside the top 10 in 4A. They'll be welcoming Dora. Dora is 12-15. They finished runner-up in Area 9 to Cordova. They sit at 12-15. This series gets started on Thursday at 4:30. Man, Fayette County, we talked about winning programs. Fayette County has a winning athletic program. I remember years ago how important football and the overall athletic department, at how important it is at Fayette County. I do think they have a very good home field advantage in the playoffs. I think Fayette County handles business this week. I'm going to go Fayette County in that matchup. Winning that area over a solid Hamilton team says a lot about them as well. I think they're seasoned for this. Give me Fayette County.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Fayette County as well. I saw 3 years ago, and this has no bearing, but I just remember going and watching Westbrook Christian and Fayette County in the first round, and it was a Westbrook Christian team that was really good. And I hadn't seen Fayette County, and Fayette County went toe-to-toe with them. I can't remember if they won. I know they pushed it to a 3-game series. I can't remember if they won it or not. But I was just impressed with how Fayette County played fundamental baseball, and they were solid. You talked about winning that series over Hamilton and area. I think that just kind of cements, that there's at 17-13. Give me Fayette County at home here to advance to the next round. Our next matchup, we've got the Area 15 winner in Randolph playing host to the Area 16 runner-up. Plainview, Randolph finished as that Area 15 winner over wait, I'm in the wrong class.
Pope John Paul.
Pope John Paul, while Plainview finished area runner-up to Madison County. Randolph sits at 18-7, while Plainview is 16-12. This series is slated to get started on Friday, and it may have been pushed back to Thursday. Not 100% sure. I'm going to go. Give me Plainview. I think Plainview goes on the road. Randolph, I think they played Madison County close in their early area series. Obviously, being 18-7, they've handled their business throughout the regular season. I'm going to go Plainview. I don't really have much. I'm going to go Plainview.
Yeah, I went Plainview as well. Plainview, they beat Collinsville and Geraldine this past week on Saturday. And again, I know there's not a lot of, not a lot we put in the stock there, but you talk about, we think Madison County is really good. All right, we've got them ranked number 3. Plainview played Madison Academy very tough. I know at least one game. Plainview, I'm going to go with them as well. This is another one where Randolph, I saw them earlier in the season on a Saturday. Wasn't their best showing, but I think this will be a highly competitive series. Wouldn't surprise me if it goes the distance of 3 games, but I'm going to go like you. I'm going with Plainview this week as well. Our next matchup, West Morgan. They won Area 13 this year with a 5-1 record. They defeated Good Hope in that area tiebreaker. West Morgan is 11-18. They're going to be hosting the Area 14 runner-up, Central of Florence, who finished the Area 5-3. That area runner-up was not decided until this past Saturday. Central of Florence comes in with a record of 20-12, and they are ranked number 10 in our 4A poll. They were in our poll earlier, dropped out, and then jumped back in after qualifying or getting eligible for the playoffs. This series will get cranked up tomorrow at 4:30. Man, listen, I'm going Central Florence, and here's the reason why. Again, no disrespect to West Morgan, because they handled their business and won their area championship. But I think we talked about this numerous times about that Area 14 and 4A. You had Wilson, who I saw, and I thought they were good. They were scrappy. You had Deschler, you had Central Florence, and you had Brooks. Whoever came out of that area was going to be a seasoned veteran club, and I think Central Florence is exactly that. I like them this week to go on the road and get the win over West Morgan.
Yeah, I do too. Reed Bruce. Last year, I think Central Florence made it to the Elite Eight, made a deep playoff run, and have a good bit coming back, including Reed Bruce. Big arm for them and a big bat. Give me Central Florence as well. I think they go on the road and take this series. Our next matchup, we have the Area 16 winner in Madison County hosting the Area 15 runner-up St. John Paul. Madison County comes in at 25-4, while St. John Paul, the second, sits at 14-12. This series gets started tomorrow on Thursday. Madison County comes into this series ranked as our number 3 team in Class 4A. They've been 1, 2, or 3 all season long. We had them pegged as one of the top teams in the preseason, and they've continued to be just that throughout the course of the regular season. I think the big thing we're going to talk about is their pitching depth, led by Jay Stuckett, and the top of their order can do damage as well. They're well equipped to be one of the top teams, continuing in a deep field of talented teams in Class 4A. And you look at a potential second round matchup that we could get to next week, but they still got to take care of business this week. And I'm going to pick them to do just so. Give me Madison County.
Yeah, I'm going Madison County as well. Again, St. John Paul has had a really good season. Coach Ward has done a great job there, getting them in the playoffs. But this is a tough draw. Make no mistake about it.
Wait, what Coach Ward?
Tyson Ward.
Okay.
Yeah. Not David Ward.
I forgot Tyson was there. Yeah,
right. Yeah. But it's a tough draw, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because Madison County and St. John Paul have played twice this year. Madison County beat them by 1 early in the season, and then about 2 weeks later, Madison County beat them, I think, like 16-3 or something. So, mixed results with 2 matchups. Again, this will be completely different. I mean, it's the state playoffs, but again, I'm going to go Madison County. You mentioned it. We can do so because we're not coaches. Coaches have to worry about this round. But if Madison County is able to take care of business, then they would match up with the winner of our next one, and that's Area 11 winner, Westbrook Christian. Westbrook Christian won a very tough area. They went 7-1. They lost one game to Aniana, but I think you can put a little asterisk by that because they already had the area locked up when Aniana beat them. Now, Westbrook played their dudes and they pitched their guys. So credit to Aniana, but that one loss was after the area was already wrapped up. We've had Westbrook Christian ranked in the top 3 to 4 all year long. They finished the season ranked number 2. Again, winners of Area 11. They're going to host Cherokee County. Cherokee County was the runner-up in Area 12. They went 5-1, and Alexandria went 5-1. And I remember seeing that just happened this past week. I think Cherokee County, it was game 1 that they won, and then Alexandria had to come back and win games 2 and 3. So, you know, we put a lot of stock in Alexandria and that Etowah matchup. Well, you know, that says a lot about Cherokee County pushing Alexandria to the brink. They're on the road at Westbrook Christian. Cherokee County finished right outside the top 10 with a 14-13 record. Again, to say all that, I think it's going to be, you know, if I'm Westbrook Christian, my 100% of my attention is on Cherokee County. You can't look ahead for possibilities like we can because Cherokee County's already shown what they can do just this past weekend. But listen, I like the depth on the mound for Westbrook. I like that lineup 1 through 9. I saw, as I said, I saw them against Etowah. Man, you know what stood out to me at Westbrook Christian? They have no problem hammering balls to that backside gap. And when you see guys doing that on a consistent basis, they're on it. And I love to see that backside double. And I was really impressed with Westbrook when I saw them in a pretty competitive matchup. Give me Westbrook Christian.
Yeah. No need to rehash, you know, all the things that you said. Cherokee County, formidable opponent, been able to beat Alexandria in that area series in game 1, but too much Westbrook Christian here. I think Westbrook Christian is one of the more complete teams in Class 4A, so I'm going to go with Westbrook Christian as well to move on to the next round. Our next matchup in 4A, you have the Area 9 winner in Cordova. They'll be playing host to the Area 10 runner-up in Hamilton. Another sneaky good matchup. Maybe these two teams aren't ranked, but they're certainly on the bubble. You know, I think we'd be comfortable saying they're in that top 15 in Class 4A. Both teams have been vying to get inside the top 10 for the majority of the season. Cordova comes in with a impressive 20-6 record. Hamilton sits at 19-10. Cordova won their area over Dora, while Hamilton finished behind
Fayette County.
Yeah. Maybe we haven't been talking enough about this Cordova team. 20-6, really playing well down the stretch. Also, you know, Hamilton as well had a really good start to the season. And you know, like I said, both these teams were in that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mix every time we do our polls. Ultimately finished outside the top 10, but we think very highly of both of these teams. I'm going to go with Cordova being at home. It's impressive what Hamilton has done in year 1 of new head coach, I think Coach Bass. But give me Cordova to get a series win in round 1.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cordova as well. And I think it was last year they made a decent run playoffs.
They did, yeah. We heard about it.
Yeah, we did. We heard about it. Absolutely. So give me Cordova as well. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton proves us both wrong. Again, we don't care who wins. We love the great matchups. Our next matchup, you've got the Area 14 winners, Deshler. We talked about the strength of that Area 14. Deshler, one of the more complete teams in the state, regardless of classification, sit at 31-6, currently ranked number 1. And they took over that number 1 spot about 2 or 3 weeks into the season and have not given that up. They will be hosting the runner-up from Area 13, Good Hope. Good Hope comes in with a record of 15-10. After going 5-1, we talked about them losing that tiebreaker to West Morgan to finish as runner-up in Area 13. Listen, man, I saw Brooks 2 weeks ago. We saw Brooks go the distance last year and win the state championship. They are obviously one of our bona fide contenders. I don't think there's a lot to say, much more we can say about Deshler. I think it's an uphill path for Good Hope. Not saying it can't be done because that's why you play the game. But, you know, I'm going with Deshler. I mean, yeah. They returned just about every piece from last year, added a couple pieces as well. I like them. Give me the Tigers to advance.
Yeah, I like Deshler as well at home. We talked about Westbrook Christian being, very balanced. I think Deshler is right up there with them, and that would be a very intriguing matchup in the later rounds of the playoffs. But still a lot of work to be done. But Deshler, I think, rolls as we wrap up the North in Class 4A. We move to the South here in Class 4A. Our first matchup, you have the Area 4 winner in Opp playing host to the Area 3 runner-up in Geneva. Opp finished the year at 20-6, while Geneva finished at 12-11. This series gets started on Friday. It's slated for Friday in our preseason. In our final preseason poll, or final poll of Class 4A, Opp finished at number 5. I think that's the highest they had been the majority of the season. They went a perfect, I think, 8-0 in their area and finished, I think it was a 5-team area. Yeah, 5-team area. They finished 8-0 and finished as a winner over New Brockton. I think Opp is a team here in the South with a lot of evenly matched. I don't think that there's a prime candidate here in the South like there is maybe in the North. I think the South is pretty wide open when you look at it. Wouldn't be surprised if a handful of teams made a deep run. I think Opp is one of those teams. They'll be tested here in the first round with Geneva, but being at home, playing really well down the stretch, I'm going to go with Opp.
I'm going to go with Opp too. They've played very well down the stretch, and you look at Geneva, and they've sort of scuffled a little bit finishing up. I think they're playing about 500 baseball of late. But again, that they're, that's a good team. That's a formidable opponent for Opp, but I think we're both going to go with them. I think I think Opp takes care of business. The next one, another good matchup in 4A. You talk about the across the board in 4A South. There's a lot of quality teams, and there's maybe there's not one team that you say that's them. I think in down south, you mentioned it. Here's one of the more intriguing matchups in Area 2 winner W.S. Neal. They went 3-1, defeating Jackson in the area tiebreaker. They come in with a record of 16-9, sit right outside on the bubble. They are playing Bayside Academy, who finished runner-up in Area 1. They finished 17-14 and sit right outside of our top 10. They did finish. I'm having to type something real quick. Hold up. There we go. They finished runner-up to Orange Beach. That was settled last week in area play. Orange Beach was able to come out on top in an area series with Bayside Academy. Again, I think this is an intriguing matchup. It is at W.S. Neal, but I'm going to go. Am I calling an upset? I don't know. I'm going to go Bayside Academy to go on the road and get a win here again, but I'm not comfortable doing it. Again, Bayside coming out of that area they were in with Satsuma, St. Michael, and Orange Beach, that sort of made me sway my vote. Give me Bayside to maybe. Is this an upset? Possibly.
I don't know. I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams. I'm going to go W.S. Neal. I think they've got a strong core of seniors, Blake Roberts, Easton Grace, guys who are used to playing in the postseason. But Bayside Academy is a powerhouse down in the southern part of the state, especially that southern part of the state in Class 4A. I saw them a few weeks ago. Sweep St. Michael. They're arguably one of their best players is that eighth grader Cooper Mason, who's really impressive. Plays shortstop, hits leadoff, and threw game 1 on the mound for them last week against Orange Beach. But I'm going to go with W.S. Neal. Give me W.S. Neal in a series that we both could see going either way. Could go 3 games. This is a toss-up for me. You went Bayside. I'll go W.S. Neal, and we'll split this down the middle. Our next matchup, we have the Area 7 winner in Oak Grove playing host to Hanley, who finished as the Area 8 runner-up. Oak Grove finished as the winner of their area over Pleasant Grove, while Hanley finished behind Munford in their area. They went to a deciding 3-game in the area championship with Munford, but Munford was able to get that game 3 win. Oak Grove finished at number 7 in our final poll with a 19-11 record, while Hanley finished on the bubble, sitting at 17-13. Last year, Oak Grove, I think going into the playoffs, was our number one team in 4A. They made it to the semifinals and got beaten 2 really close games to Bibb County. I think they lost a few pieces from that team last year, but they have some familiar faces, guys who are familiar with playing deep into the postseason. Hanley, they pushed Munford to the brink in that area championship. I'm sure that very solid club being 17-13. I'm going to go with Oak Grove, especially being at home and just some players who are used to playing deep in the postseason. Give me Oak Grove.
I'm going to go Oak Grove as well. Again, that's they're synonymous with winning. They expect to win every time they step foot in a playoff series. I'm going to side with you. I'm going to go Oak Grove also. Moving right along in Area 5, the next matchup pits our winner from Area 5. That is Trinity Presbyterian. They went 7-1 in their area, currently sit at 17-10, and are ranked number 8 in our final top 10 in 4A. They will be hosting West Blockton. West Blockton finished runner-up in Area 6 to Bibb County. West Blockton finished their area 2-2, currently bringing a 10-11 record. And they've had some success this year, but man, you saw them last week. There are a lot of really good pieces on that Trinity team, and there's a lot of younger pieces that are impressive as well. I think this is a case of a team playing their best of the season. And again, Trinity's been here year in, year out. And this series gets started Friday at 1:00. Yeah, they have to play at 1, no lights at Trinity. And that's a cool little place to watch a game. I always enjoy going there to Trinity. I'm going to go with Trinity, man. I think they're playing their best baseball of the season. A team that may be a little bit of a sleeper pick. We've got them at 8, could very well be higher, but give me Trinity to advance.
I'm going to go Trinity as well. I was impressed with them watching them play against Tallahassee, game 1 of their area championship. Lane Sharpless, freshman, really, really good player, and they've got other supporting pieces as well. Give me Trinity to move on. Our next matchup, you've got the Area 8 winner in Munford. They'll be playing host to Area 7 runner-up Pleasant Grove. Munford finished as the area winner, won that game 3 over Hanley in the area championship, while Pleasant Grove finished at 4-2 behind Oak Grove in their area. Munford comes in on the bubble, sitting at 12-10, while Pleasant Grove is at 17-13. This series gets started on Thursday at 5 at Munford, and I'm going to side with Munford to take this series. A team we've been keeping an eye on in 4A. They've been on the bubble, but a team we've been watching and following, led by Braden Nichols, who's a good two-way piece for them, has had a good year. Been seeing his stuff on Twitter, so and they've got other supporting casts as well. I'm going to go with Munford.
I am as well, and I'm doing it from I think it's a strength of schedule thing here. Munford has really played a tough schedule this year. In the area where they are, there's a lot of quality teams around them that they're able to solidify their schedule, and I think that plays dividends at this time of year. Give me Munford to advance. Our next matchup, you've got the winners of Area 3. That's Houston Academy. They come in at 7-1 in the area. They won the tiebreaker over Geneva. They're at 16-10 overall, sitting right outside the bubble in 4A. They will be welcoming the Area 4 runner-up. That is New Brockton. New Brockton went 6-2, finishing runner-up to Opp in Area 4. New Brockton comes in with an overall record of 20-6, and they also sit in 4A. This is an interesting series, man. You look at New Brockton's 20-6 record. There's no shame in finishing runner-up to Opp. We talked about what we think of Opp. Houston Academy has done exactly what they're supposed to do. They went 7-1, beat Geneva in that tiebreaker. Listen, this is a matchup that can go either way. Absolutely can go either way. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to go with New Brockton and maybe an upset, runner-up beating a winner. I don't know. I'm going to go New Brockton with those 20 wins on the road to beat Houston Academy. Again, could be wrong, but I went with New Brockton.
I'm going to go Houston Academy. We'll split this. Ty Morris and Harrison Milanowski, two pieces for Houston Academy who have had really good years leading the way for them.
Did you say Milanowski? 40 40 hits and 40 stolen bases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, impressive. And he's been a big piece for them. But obviously New Brockton at 20-6, certainly no slouch, playing really well down the stretch. Two teams that are playing really well. I'm going to go Houston Academy, and we'll split this matchup. Our next matchup, penultimate matchup in Class 4A, you have the Area 1 winner in Orange Beach. They'll be hosting the Area 2 runner-up in Jackson. Orange Beach finished at number 9, making their way back into the top 10 after being preseason ranked. They came in at number 9, and they sit at 19-14. Jackson comes in at 11-14. Orange Beach finished as the winner of their area over Bayside Academy, while Jackson finished behind W.S. Neal in their area. This series will be played at the beautiful Orange Beach Sportsplex, and I'm going to go with the Makos here, getting a first-round series win. They played their first 20 games where they played a very, very tough schedule, and throughout playing in a difficult area, Area 1, it looked like it paid dividends, and I think it continues to here in the first-round matchup. Give me the Makos.
I'm going to go with Orange Beach as well for the exact same reason you just said. They built that schedule to benefit them this time of year, and it did this past weekend in a difficult area, final area series. So give me the Makos to advance to round 2, where if they do, either of the two teams that they match up with will be a very, very interesting series. Our last series in 4A, you've got the winners of Area 6, Bibb County. What is 4A baseball without Bibb County being right in the thick of things? I mean, they're there every single year. The Choctaws finished 4-0 in their area and 18-10 overall. They currently sit at number 4 in our final rankings. They will be hosting the runner-up from Area 5. That's Tallahassee. Tallahassee sits right outside the top 10 in our rankings. They come in with a 16-11 record after finishing runner-up to Trinity Presbyterian in that difficult Montgomery area. Listen, this is a big time matchup. Austin, you've seen Tallahassee. We've talked about Bibb County, and every year, Bibb County is just they're hard nosed. They just play hard. I think they go as their arms go. Now they can swing it a little bit, but they've got some arms as well. I think you flip it over on the other side, and I think Tallahassee depends a lot on their offense. I know they've got an arm that's got some minuscule numbers at Tallahassee. But
Butler.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, but I also think that's a really offensive club. I think this is an interesting series. It'll be a big time matchup. See two former future gamers facing off with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Braden Cash on the bump for Bibb County and Brew Milner at Tallahassee. That's worth the price of admission right there just to see that matchup. In a matchup this close, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go Bibb County. I'm gonna pick the Choctaws to advance. But again, think it's going to be highly competitive in this final matchup in 4A.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bibb County as well. Braden Cash at the top of that rotation. Ethan McMillan, kid headed to Shelton, can also give him some good innings on the mound and be a key middle of the order bat. Just don't let number 2 beat you if you're Bibb County. That's Brew Milner for Tallahassee. He's got double-digit home runs. Finished, I think he even missed some time early in the season. Still, I think he's hitting over 500 going into the playoffs with 10 home runs. You can't let him beat you. But you said it. Bibb County is well coached. They play hard. I'm going to go with the Choctaws at home as well. Give me Bibb County in our final matchup in 4A. We move to 5A. We'll start in the north. Some intriguing matchups here. Some especially up here in this little top left section. We'll start where we have the Area 12 winner in Corner, who will be playing host to the Area 11 runner-up in Moody. Corner, like I said, finished as the Area 12 winner over Springville and Hayden. They come into the playoffs with a 15-11 record and sit outside on the bubble. Moody finished as the Area 11 runner-up to Lincoln. They split Moody and Lincoln split those two. They only played 2 games in their series because,
okay.
yeah. So Lincoln didn't win the series, but they won the area championship because Moody had lost to Jacksonville, I think, the week prior.
Oh, so Lincoln and Moody just split 1-1.
Yes.
Okay.
But Moody comes in at number 9. They sit at 21-7. This series is slated to get started on Friday at corner. I'm going to have to go with Moody, the away team. Give me Moody. I think, Brian Harden has put up some big time numbers on the mound headed to Shelton State. I think they've got 4 other players who are headed to play at the next level. JB Leatherwood, a host of others. So I'm going to go with Moody. But corner, seemingly winning that area. Hayden, I think, got off to like a 15-2 start. Springville is Springville. To win that area, I think, was an impressive feat for corner. But I think I'm gonna go with Moody. And I like their pitching staff.
I'm going to go with Moody as well. Went back and forth on this one, but again, Austin, and I do want to make sure you guys understand. We don't get together and decide you do this, you do that. I have to say I went with Moody because of those arms as well. That's exactly why I sided with Moody, and so I'm going to take them to advance to round 2. Another intriguing matchup in 5A. You've got the winners of Area 10. You've got Leeds. The Green Wave comes in at 5-1 after defeating John Carroll Catholic for the area championship. Leeds sits right outside the bubble. Again, Area 10 winners. They're going to be welcoming the runner-up of Area 9, Sipsey Valley. Sipsey Valley comes in with a record of 14-8. And I do have to say this, Coach Davis is a friend of ours at Sipsey Valley. He does a good job there. But perhaps nobody, how do I say this, accomplished, I might be wrong. I think if you polled people across the state of Alabama in 5A Area 9, everybody would have taken American Christian and Northside to advance out of that. And we had them in the top 2 or 3 all year long. Credit to Sipsey Valley for being able to qualify for the area, qualify out of that area. And again, there is nothing I'm saying that is disrespectful towards Sipsey Valley. It is a compliment. Congratulations for Sipsey getting out of that area. They took 1 from American Christian and 1 from Northside, correct? Isn't that right, Austin? Yes.
Yeah, and that was the most. You can win a close game. They beat Northside game 1. That was maybe the ball kicked their way, maybe one game, but then the next week you followed up and you split with American Christian. I think that taking 1 from both of those teams, I think, was the most impressive.
So that tells you how good Sipsey Valley is. Although their record may not be the best record in the world, they're at 14-8. Coming 18. Out of that 14-18, my apologies. Coming out of that area is a significant jump for Sipsey Valley. I mean, that's impressive. And we were watching it last week because we knew what had to happen for Sipsey to get in or for Northside to get in. But it turned out to be Sipsey Valley at 14-18. This series will get cranked up on Friday. The last that we heard, we could be different. Leeds, I think they probably got all their upgrades done at that park. Nice little park there. I'm going to go, and I will say this. I absolutely expect 3 games here. I expect 3 games here, but I'm going to go with the home Green Wave to advance. That's a nice little environment at that park. I think Leeds has just been consistent and steady all year long. I'm going to go with them to advance in 3 games. I'm calling 3 games. Let's see if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Leeds too, but you look at Leeds, they've kind of been, it's a little bit of a, like they've played Lincoln. They got beat 17-1 against Lincoln in a doubleheader, but then turned around and beat them 6-1. They've had some game, like they got swept by Springville, but they've beaten, they beat John Carroll. They got beat by Homewood, but they've got 22 wins. They've beaten Mortimer Jordan. I'm going to go. This is, I think, too, like you said, this is a pretty evenly matched series. Could go either way. I'm going to go with Leeds. 22-13. They played some really good teams in that Birmingham area. Sipsey Valley, you could say the same thing. Played some really good teams in that Tuscaloosa area. Two really, really evenly matched teams. I'm going to go with Leeds being at home. Give me the green wave in 5A. Our next matchup, we've got the Area 15 winner, Fairview, playing host to the Area 16 runner-up in Madison Academy. Fairview finished as the area winner over Arab. They went 5-1 in their area. Madison Academy finished at 4-2 in Area 16 behind East Limestone to finish as the area runner-up. Both of these teams come in to the playoffs sitting on the bubble in our final 5A poll. Madison Academy had been inside at number 9 and number 10 on the back half of the season, ultimately finished outside. This is a tough matchup to pick, a really intriguing one. You have Madison Academy at 21-10, Fairview's at 19-14. Madison Academy, a storied program with significant postseason success, while Fairview has had a strong season. I'm going to go with Madison Academy here. I think they have just enough. Grady Moore, sophomore, leading the way. Big middle of the order bat for them. Walker Sellers, you've seen them. I haven't, but I just know some of their players. I'm going to go with Madison Academy. But Fairview, I know Camden Cullen, a kid who's stood out at multiple events. I think he's a big piece for Fairview, but I'm going to go with Madison Academy to go on the road and get a close series win.
Yep, Truett Austin at the top of that lineup, left-handed bat, shortstop, young kid from Addison Academy. You mentioned Camden Cullen. This has the makings to be a really good, really impressive series as well. They share a lot of common opponents. They played a lot of the same people this year. Just looking at the body of work, man, I'm going to go with Madison Academy. Lost that area to East Limestone. That was another team I saw that I was very impressed with, but I'm going to look for the Mustangs to go on the road and get the win, again, in a highly competitive series. Jumping to our next matchup, you've got Area 13 winner, the Pirates of Boaz. They finished they finished area play at 6-0 with an overall record of 22-8. They made their first appearance in our top 10 this week at number 8. They will be hosting Area 14 runner-up West Point. West Point is at 18-13, and they finished runner-up to Russellville, and they actually defeated Russellville in one of those games, which really made that interesting the last weekend of the series. I mean, you look at these records and you think Boaz at 22-8, West Point at 18-13. This is an easy walkover for the Pirates. Absolutely not the case. We've been talking about the last couple of weeks, the Golden Tigers of Russellville, and they were a team to, here they come. Here comes Russellville. Well, then West Point goes and wins game 1 in that series and makes things really, really interesting. There is plenty of firepower in that West Point lineup to go and win this series against Boaz. Absolutely there is. Boaz, notorious for a big-time home atmosphere. I think they bring trucks in the outfield. Great. It's what high school baseball is supposed to be like. By the slimmest of margin, I'm going Boaz. We obviously have them ranked for the first time. I think that tells you what we think about Boaz on the back half of the season. Give me Boaz this week to advance to round 2 in another highly competitive series.
Yeah, I'm going with the Pirates as well. I think Cooper Horton is a catcher for them, is having a huge back end of the season, and there are other supporting casts for Boaz. For all the reasons that you said, not going to harp over it again. I'm going to go Boaz as well. I think they're playing really well as of late. Our next matchup in 5A, we have the Area 16 winner, East Limestone, hosting the Area 15 runner-up in Arab. East Limestone finished at 20-8, while Arab finished at 13-17. East Limestone was one of the 5A teams, one of the many 5A teams we were looking at for that 8, 9, 10 spot in our final poll. They ultimately finished on the bubble. But make no mistake, I know, after you saw them play against Scottsboro, I know you were very impressed with them. Their area record speaks for itself, sweeping Madison Academy and sweeping their way through the area. I'm going to go with East Limestone. 20-8. They've gone about their business throughout the season, handled their area play well. Being at home, I like East Limestone.
I do too, man. And selfishly, personally, that's one team I wish we could have gotten the top 10. Just things didn't play out that way. I think this is a bona fide top 10 team. I think I may be wrong here on the name. Sophomore catcher Landon Coleman, something like that. May be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong there. I'm sorry, but they've got a sophomore catcher, man, that really, really impressed me. Along with some guys that played on their I think state Final Four, or no, maybe I can't remember. Yeah, they went deep into the playoffs in basketball. Landon Compton, that's him. Yeah, 2028 catcher, man, was really, really impressive.
And then Chris Fitz, obviously.
Well, yeah, and Chris Fitz. And, we talk about sometimes you see guys that just look the part. Chris Fitz absolutely looks the part on the field. He's got talent to match as well. But there's a winning culture at East Limestone. Coach Brown does a great job there. I coached against him years ago when he played. That's a team to keep an eye on in East Limestone. I think that's a team that can make some noise in 5A. So I'm going to go with them as well. Our next matchup, you've got Lincoln. They won Area 11 this year. They went 5-1. Them and Moody split 1 game apiece. Lincoln finished 19-10, right outside the top 10 in our 5A poll. They will be hosting Area 12 runner-up Springville. Springville comes in at 4-2 with a 4-2 in their area and a 20-13 overall record. As I mentioned, both of these teams come in right outside the bubble. I think this is Lincoln's first state playoff appearance since maybe 2019, somewhere in there. I saw that. I think that's what it is. Springville obviously was a team that we had number 1 for a bulk of the year last year. In 5A, Grant Martinez just committed to Calhoun. Congratulations to him. That's a program notorious for winning. Lincoln, again, first time in the playoffs since 2019. I think that they're in the process of learning, how to win and how to take care of these games, these series. And I think they did that in the area. I'm going to go with the team that's hot right now. I'm going to go with Lincoln winning that area. Hosting is huge. I'm sure it will be a raucous atmosphere. And as you always say, Austin, when you get to Lincoln, you're also close to where?
Man, it's a big wink in Lincoln, Alabama this week, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Big week. Yeah, I'm going to go Lincoln as well. Braden Palmore, Parks Woodruff are just a few of the key pieces for Lincoln, and winning that area, a tough area over a Moody team. Give me Lincoln in a series that could go either way. Springville is playing really well as of late, finishing area runner-up. But I'm going to go Lincoln. How can you not go Lincoln this week?
There you go.
I'm going to go with Lincoln. Our next matchup, we've got the Area 9 winner, American Christian, playing host to John Carroll Catholic. ACA comes in at number 2. They've been at 1 or 2 all season long in our 5A poll. They come in at 28-10. John Carroll Catholic is on the bubble in 5A. They sit at 17-16. This series is slated to get started on Friday. Not sure if that's still the case with weather, but slated to get started on Friday. Too much ACA for me in this one. ACA is battle tested. They are, they've got more pitching depth this year. They can still generate plenty of offense. Jalen Crocker, Hunter Elmore, just Clayton Rice, bunch of guys up and down that order. BJ Garth and Drew Jackson have turned into a really solid 1-2 punch, a pair of sophomores. I really like ACA, and I really like them with a chance to, as they start to defend their Class 5A state championship. But it won't be easy, and it they know it's not going to be easy, but they've got the talent to do it. And I like them to get off with a first-round series win over John Carroll.
I'm obviously going to go with American Christian. I mean, their body of work, their schedule they played this year, we've made it perfectly clear what we think about them. John Carroll Catholic, looking at their schedule, they've played the likes of the Homewoods and the Gardendales and Vestavia Hills and Westbrook Christian and, Thorsby and McAdory. I mean, Spain Park, Madison Academy, Briarwood Christian, Pelham, Mountain Brook. They've also put together a really strong strength of schedule. But again, I have to go with American Christian here. But again, I don't expect John Carroll just to, be punked down. I think they will compete. They will fight. That's a talented American Christian club. Moving on to our last matchup in the North in 5A, you've got the Area 14 winners, Russellville Golden Tigers. Talked about them winning that area, going 5-1 in the area. They're going to be hosting the runner-up from Area 13. That's Sardis. Sardis went 4-2, losing 2 games to Boaz last week, giving Boaz the title and allowing Sardis to finish runner-up. Both of these teams finished on the bubble to finish up the season. Russellville is at 18-14. Sardis is at 19-7. Coach Smith at Russellville does a great job. Coach Brackett at Sardis is one of our good friends and also does a great job. Coach Smith's a good friend of ours too. I don't mean to act like we don't like him. We like both these coaches and respect both of them. We've talked about it. This is going to be this will be entertaining. I can assure you that. But we've talked about this the last few weeks, man. Russellville has looked like what we're used to seeing Russellville in the state playoffs, and there are raucous atmospheres all across the state in the playoffs. But Russellville does it right. Beautiful stadium. They put a quality product on the field. They know how to get involved in the state playoffs. Man, I can't pick against Russellville at home. Give me the Golden Tigers to advance to the second round.
Yeah, me too. Russellville had been clicking, especially that back half of the season, getting Braden Entrican back. You mentioned they lost to West Point, still were able to win that series and wrap up that area championship.
Trip Cleveland gave them a gem on the bump.
Yeah. And they took their lumps, obviously, the first few weeks of the season, but they were playing a really brutal schedule. They played in our South Alabama showdown, played 4 games. Getting Entrican back is just a boost in the arm for Russellville. But Sardis has played really well. Sardis has 19 wins, but I'm going to go with Russellville here. I talked about it in our previous podcast. I think that they're clicking. I think that they're a chance to be a sleeper team. While they will have a potential tough matchup if they do win this in the second round. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go with Russellville as we wrap up the North. We move to the South. Another really intriguing matchup to get us started here in the South. We have the Area 4 winner in Headland playing host to the Area 3 runner-up in Andalusia. Headland, listen, I think Headland, we probably talked off air. We think Headland's one of the top 10 talented teams in 5A before we ranked them. And really down the stretch, Headland really started to play really well. They beat Enterprise last week. They won their area with ease. They sit at 19-8, and we got them in at number 10 in our preseason or our final poll in Class 5A. You look at Andalusia up until last week being swept by Charles Henderson. Andalusia was hot as well, beating UMS-Wright the week before. Like I said, Andalusia is at 19-8. Headland's at 19-8. Andalusia sits at 17-6. Both really good records. Headland's at number 10. Andalusia's just outside on the bubble. They were at number 10 a few weeks ago. Really evenly matched. These are two teams who have had success all season long, but I'm going to go with Headland here. Strong group of sophomores. You add in Wyatt Shelley. I think Headland is really talented. I think they've got a really good lineup. They've got pieces on the mound to carry them through this series. Give me the Rams to continue their trend of good baseball as of late.
I'm going to go with Headland as well. I think this is a very interesting matchup, and we talk about, head to head and how much it means or what it doesn't mean. But these two teams actually, it's weird. They actually opened the season against each other on February the 20th. And
Andalusia won, didn't they?
What's that?
I think Andalusia won, didn't they?
Andalusia won at home 4-3. So it's weird that they opened the season against each other, and now they're about to play again in the first round of the playoffs. Both of them have had very successful seasons, as you've mentioned, have seen time ranked in our top 10. But again, that Headland team, to me, you mentioned it, that sophomore group, you add Shelley in there and some other pieces. That's a really good Headland team and a good Andalusia team. Obviously lost that series last week to Charles Henderson, but I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Headland in this matchup. Our next matchup, you've got Area 2 winners Faith Academy. They finished at 7-1 in their area, a very tough area that we talked about all year long. They also finished the season ranked number 1. They were 1 or 2 all year long with a 20 and finished the season with a 20-7 record. Again, the number 1 ranked team in the state in 5A. They'll be welcoming the runners-up of Area 1. That's Alberta. Alberta finished runner-up to UMS-Wright in their area. Alberta went on a magical run last year. I know it was either Final Four St. Paul's?
Yeah, I got beat game 3 St. Paul's.
Yeah, and it was rain and all that stuff. Absolutely. But listen here. Faith Academy, obviously, we think that they are very. They're one of the contenders. There's no doubt. I feel confident saying the Rams take care of business this weekend.
Yep, I like the Rams as well. Give me Faith Academy. Our next matchup, one of the top matchups in a good week of baseball in 5A. Some good matchups. I think with this one, obviously, it's a top 5 matchup in round 1. You've got the Area 7 winner, Demopolis. They'll be hosting Shelby County, Area 8 runner-up. Demopolis comes in at number 3, sitting at 23-5. Shelby County will be traveling. They sit at 22-7 and finish at number 5. Like I said, this will be at Demopolis, getting set to start on Friday, tentatively on Friday. You look at Demopolis, man. We've talked about Demopolis. Really good pitching rotation. J.W. McAlpine, Jack Pritchett, the Colgrove brothers. They can really pitch it. Got some big time arms on their staff. And then Jake Powell kind of leads the way for that offense with some of those other pitchers who serve as 2-ways for them. Shelby County on the other side, Cooper Pennington being a physical left-handed bat. Andrew Knight, Davis Rustin. But I'm going to side with Demopolis here. I like Demopolis's pitching staff. And I think they do just enough offensively being at home. I'm going to ever so slightly lean with the home team in Demopolis in this top 5 matchup in 5A. Give me Demopolis.
I guess it's pretty fitting that I'm going to go Shelby County, man. And I hate.
There it is. Demopolis playing tomorrow at 4:30.
Tomorrow at 4:30. Thank you. We appreciate that. Again, we're trying to stay up to date on all the changes with weather, but it's just impossible. Thank you for letting us know. Listen, if I pick Demopolis, I would hate to pick against Shelby County. And if I pick Shelby County, I would hate to pick against Demopolis. I mean, it's just, again, 3 versus 5 in the first round, man. It is so, I mean, I don't want to say it's unfair because that's not the word, but it's just, it's bad that it happens this early. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And I think this one is fitting that we split it. You go Demopolis. I'm going to go Shelby County. And just to be honest with you, I'm not 100% comfortable with it. And I wouldn't be 100% comfortable if I picked Demopolis. But it should be maybe this series of the state, across the entire state. I mean, if you look at pure rankings, it absolutely is. So we're going to split it. I'm going to go Shelby County. You'll go Demopolis. And I didn't even put that pick in. Let me go ahead and put that pick in my sheet right here that I've got that I'm looking at. So that'll make that there. I'll go Shelby County. Next matchup could be another good one. You've got the winners of Area 5. You've got the Hopeville Bulldogs. They come in at 17-13. They went 4-0. They beat Marbury. Marbury finished runner-up in that area. They will be hosting. Excuse me, I got a little off track there. They will be hosting the runner-up out of Area 6. That's Valley. Valley finished runner-up to Elmore County. Valley comes in with a record of 14-9-1. Hopeville comes in with a record of 17-13. Valley sits right outside the bubble. You obviously Valley, Bryant Hopkins, and then is it McDonald? Is that right?
Yes, Matthew McDonald.
Matthew McDonald, that's correct. Those two guys, Hopkins leading the way on the bump. McDonald, they lead the charge for Valley. This one gets cranked up on Friday at 5:00. I'm a little torn on here. The adage is good pitching beats good hitting. I'm going to go with Valley, one that I'm not comfortable with, but give me Valley to go on the road and get a win. And again, this is one, it seems like I'm saying this all the time in 5A. There's some intriguing matchups, but Not going to be surprised in the least if Hopeful gets this win, but give me Valley.
Yeah. Also for Valley, Mason Yarbrough, their catcher, really top of the order bat for them. And you mentioned Bryant Hopkins. He's coming off one of his better outings of the year. Went 7 innings, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts, no walks against Beauregard in a must-win area game to get them into the playoffs. I like the pieces for Valley, leading with Hopkins on the mound, and then they're, top of the order for them. For the Rams, I like them to do just enough to go on the road to a Hopeful place that is known to create some really raucous environments in the playoffs. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Valley here, like you, to go on the road and get a series win in 5A. We move to our next matchup in 5A South. You've got the Area 8 winner in Briarwood Christian playing host to the Area 7 runner-up in Jemison. Briarwood Christian comes in ranked at number 6. They sit at 21-9. Jemison sits at 14-8 coming into the playoffs. The series gets started on Thursday tomorrow at Briarwood Christian in Birmingham. I think we both will side. I think we're both going to go Briarwood Christian, led by Ivan Hand, Houston Hartsfield, Parker Daniels, Jamison Barnes, a strong core, strong nucleus of players for Briarwood Christian. They've been inside our top 5 for pretty much the majority of the season. We think that they're really talented. And playing at home, I like Briarwood Christian to get off to a first-round series win.
I agree with you there. Again, nothing disrespectful towards Jemison, but Briarwood has played the best of the best throughout the state, winning that area, and their series with Shelby County was electric. They did lose that series, but Briarwood was able to win the overall area race. I'm going to go Briarwood at home, and again, a team that can make some noise in the 5A. Our next matchup, you've got Area 3 winner Charles Henderson. We talked about them winning that area over Andalusia last week. Charles Henderson is at 4-0 in the area, currently at 19-8, sitting right outside our top 10 in 5A. They will be welcoming the runner-up of Area 4, Eufaula. Eufaula finished the runner-up to Headland after going 2-2. Eufaula sits at 7-18 on the year. Listen, this Charles Henderson team caught some eyes last week by sweeping that area series versus Andalusia. Had a win against 7A number 1 at the time, Enterprise, a couple weeks back. This team's playing its best baseball right now. I think Charles Henderson handles business. I think they move on to the second round.
Yeah, I agree. Charles Henderson, Andalusia last year, both going for the area championship. We thought it could go either way, but for Charles Henderson to handle Andalusia in 2 pretty convincing games, I think was a statement win for us. I'm going to go Charles Henderson at home as well to move on to the next round. Our next matchup, and you talked about this for the Demopolis Shelby County, could be one of the bigger matchups across the state, especially down south. UMS-Wright and St. Paul's. UMS-Wright comes in at number 7. They sit at 21-7. St. Paul's Episcopal comes in as the Area 2 runner-up, finishing behind Faith Academy. They sit at 18-5 coming into the playoffs. UMS-Wright comes in at number 7, while St. Paul's Episcopal is at number 4. This is a top 7 matchup. I think it's the battle. What's the name of the Battle of Old Shell Road? Yep, that's what I think. I think these campuses are 2 miles away from each other. So these are 2 teams that are no stranger to playing each other. Let me see because I know that they both played in the regular season. I don't want to see who won that. But UMS-Wright, these are 2 teams who are used to making deep playoff runs. 2 of the consistent programs in the South year after year. St. Paul's won on March 12th, 5-4. 5-4. St. Paul's won. UMS-Wright, Manning Amorde, Ty Waters are just a couple of those players for the Bulldogs, and then obviously for St. Paul's, John Stowers, Tate Farrell. They've got Tate Johnston. There's talent on both sides here in this one, but I'm going to go with St. Paul's Episcopal to go on the road here in this rivalry game. I could go either way. I'm sure you'll say the same thing. I'm not sure who you're picking, but I'm going to go with I'm going to go with St. Paul's Episcopal. to do just enough here to get a series win.
Man, I hate that I've got to pick against St. Paul's or that I have to pick against UMS-Wright, because they've both been just steady all year long, obviously been ranked all year long. But I learned my lesson last year. I went against UMS-Wright like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and they proved me wrong. And I really can't believe I'm picking against St. Paul's, because I love that team. But something just tells me that UMS-Wright is just went on about their business all year long, playing good baseball all year, and that the Bulldogs are going to get a win this week in this series. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not going to be surprised whoever wins this series, but I'm not doing what I did last year, and I'm not going to be wrong on UMS-Wright. So I'm going to side with them this year and see if they can win this highly. This is a big time matchup here. Obviously, I don't need to say that anymore, but I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs at home this week.
Yeah, a battle that a series that deserves a split.
I agree. There you go. Thank you, Luca. Appreciate it, man. Hope Luca's finally healthy. I know he missed some time early. Last matchup in 5A, you've got the winners of Area 6. You've got Elmore County and Coach Michael Dismukes going 4-0 in area. They come in at 17-13. They're right outside the top 10 in our 5A rankings. They're going to be hosting Marbury, who is the Area 5 runner-up after losing to Hubbertville. Marbury comes in with a record of 7-23 after a really good season a year ago. Things haven't been as planned for Marbury this year as they were last year. If you look at Elmore County's last couple weeks, they are rolling. They're on it. I think they're getting hot at the right time. I'm going Elmore County this week. I really like them, and they could be in a position to make some noise in 5A this year.
Yeah, when Elmore County, they'll be well coached. Coach Dismukes does a great job, and you said it, down the stretch, they're really playing well. That 3-team area, while it's 3 teams, that's a sneaky tough area with Valley and Beauregard. Valley, we talked about them a few minutes ago. And Beauregard had a good record, and beaten some good teams, beaten, I think, Opelika and Rehoboth maybe. But they played good teams and beaten some good teams, and Elmore County was able to breeze through that area with Shelton Darnell kind of leading the way on the mound and at the plate for them. I'm going to go Elmore County being at home. Give me Elmore County as well to move on to the next round.
One more class.
Here we go.
Yep.
We start in 6A in the north. We've got our first matchup, the Area 12 winner in Gardendale playing host to the Area 11 runner-up in Pell City. Gardendale all right, both of these teams enter this matchup with a losing record. But I don't know if that reflects this, the talent on both sides. Gardendale last year, I think they reached the Final Four. Got beat by Hartsville
on the Final Four. Yeah.
Obviously, you lose Caden Combs. They lost some pieces. Maybe, in the win-loss column hasn't been the year that they've expected. But, you look down the stretch, they beat Homewood a couple weeks ago. Seems like they're starting to play a little bit better. Pell City, another team who we had preseason ranked, maybe didn't get out of the gate well. Lost the series to Oxford last week, but last year made a good playoff run as well. These are two teams who, talented on both sides. Both of these teams are on the bubble coming into the playoffs. The series is slated to get started on Friday. I'm going to go with I'll go with Pell City. I'm going to go with Pell City here. Yeah, give me Pell City to go on the road. I wouldn't feel good about either side, but ultimately I'm going to go with the road team and give me Pell City.
Yeah, I said this last year. Had you told me when we saw Gardendale last year in the kickoff classic that they'd be in the Final Four, I'd have said, man, I don't know. But Ryan Keaty does a great job, and it's the same thing this year with Gardendale. You said it; they're playing much better of late. Trying to, this is trying to get ready for this type of season. And I think this is an even matchup without a doubt. I hate that we're both going with the same one, but I'm going to go with Pell City also. I like the Panthers to go on the road and get a win here. I think it's, obviously I can see 3 games coming. That's a good atmosphere. I've been to Gardendale for playoff baseball, and they create a great atmosphere as well. So, going to be interested to see how that one plays out. I hate we're both going Pell City, but that's what we're going to do. The next matchup, you've got the Area 10 winners. You've got Mountain Brook. The Spartans win a perfect 4-0 in an area that they took care of business, and they would tell you they should. That's an area they should take care of business in. They've been in our top end of our top 10 all year long. Finished the season ranked number 4. They're going to be welcoming the Area 9 runner-up Parker Thundering Herd, coming with a record of 23-8. They finished runner-up in Area 9 to Homewood. Listen, Parker's had a good year and, have run up a really impressive record. But Mountain Brook is a different animal, I guess you could say, man. They've done a great job of building some pitching depth. They obviously can swing the bat. This is a bona fide contender in 6A. I got to go with the Spartans, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go Mountain Brook for all the reasons you said. Give me Mountain Brook to advance. Our next matchup, we have the Area 15 winner in Hartselle playing host to the Area 16 runner-up in Buckhorn. That's number 8 Hartselle, who comes in at 23-11. And wasn't Hartselle like 12-11 at one point? Seems like they've won 10 or 11 straight throughout area and through the back half of the season. Buckhorn comes in with a 14-20 record. They finished behind Hazel Green in their area this past week. Hartselle won over Athens, Muscle Shoals, and Decatur. This series gets started on, is it Thursday, correct?
It is Thursday. I verified it. Yes, it is Thursday.
So Hartselle looking to defend their Class 6A state championship from last year. We know that the top half of their order, they've got a balanced lineup. A good chunk from last year's offensive returners come back and think that they're but think Hartselle's really started to piece some pieces together on the mound. Barrett McKelvey, he's turned into a really good option for them in game 1. And then look at Buckhorn.
You got Styles, yeah.
Yep, Connor Styles. I'm going to go Hartselle here, being at home. More about Buckhorn, so if you can speak a little bit more to them. But Owen Todd, few of their players. Yeah. I'm going to go with Hartselle at home. I think they're really playing well. Contrary to other people, what they think, I'm going to go with Hartselle.
Yeah. Buckhorn's scrappy group, man. The Walling kid behind the plate. Dalen, what's his last name? Dalen Woods on the mound. There's a lot of good pieces there at Buckhorn. They're scrappy, but I think it's just too much Hartselle. We've talked about, people, and you mentioned something about them being 12-11. Well, I just looked it up real quick, and Hartselle's last loss was on March the 26th, and it was a 1-run loss to a nationally ranked Farragut team out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So, this is Hartselle's time of year. And everybody knows you go to Hartselle in the playoffs, it is a wild and raucous scene, and that's awesome. That might be a place I'm at tomorrow. I've still have yet to decide where I'm going tomorrow. But again, that one is starting on Thursday. I think we're both going to go with Hartselle. Again, the Tigers are absolutely playing very well right now. Our next matchup features the winners of Area 13. That's the Bearcats of Coleman. They come in ranked number 3 with a 23-9 record. They'll be hosting the runner-up. The runner-up in Area 14. That's south side of Gadsden. South side of Gadsden went 1-3 in the area. They finished the season ranked 15-14. Coleman was sort of, they were pushed to the limit, I guess you can say, against Mortimer Jordan, losing game 1. And then they were down. I think they were early down like 4-0 in game 2, and things weren't looking real good for Coleman. But then they got hot, and I said this to several people, and I think including you, Austin. I know I told Coach Patterson, but when that offense gets rolling, I mean, it's really a snowball effect. They really get on it and just they put a ton of pressure on you. You know, it's that Coleman team is pretty scary offensively, and Southside, beating that having to beat who was it? Gadsden City, much improved Gadsden City to get in. They're not going to be a pushover. They're not going to be a slouch. But going to Bill Shelton Field, they've seen their share of big time atmospheres at Coleman. I'm going with the Bearcats this weekend. I believe this series, if there hasn't been any changes, it gets cranked up on Friday at 4:30. But give me the Bearcats to advance.
Yeah, I agree too. And it seems like playing at home, Coleman probably has one of the better home atmospheres, and playing at home is a real boost for Coleman. They just seem to always play really well there. Give me the Bearcats. You saw them last year. We've been following all year long, and they've racked up some impressive wins throughout the season. And I know you were impressed with them last week. So give me the Bearcats to advance to a deep round, or to the next round, and to potentially start making a run deep into the playoffs where they're accustomed to being.
I don't want to look ahead.
Yeah.
But you talk about two rivals in what could be in the second round if Hartselle and Coleman were able to win this week. Woo!
Yeah. That's going to be a battle of the. You got some flack for your tweet last week.
Yeah,
for your bat boy. That's going to be that'd be a head-to-head right there.
That's because Hartselle's got a hidden piece in the dugout too, right?
That's right. Best game changer to follow in the state. Next matchup, you've got the Area 16 winner, Hazel Green. They'll be hosting Athens, who finished as the Area 15 runner-up. Hazel Green comes in at number 7. They'll be hosting Athens, who finished on the bubble at 17-14. It'll be at Hazel Green. Hazel Green, like I said, comes in at number 7. Really, really strong season for the Trojans. Coach Dennis has done a good job in his first year at the helm at Hazel Green. They've got some really good senior pieces, Bryce Zimmerman, Andrew Beaverson, and have really got some depth on the mound. But you've seen Athens, Hudson Marks. You can expand on them when you give your pick, but I'm gonna go with the Trojans being at home. Just seems like Hazel Green is bound for a potential playoff run, but they'll be tested here in the first round against an Athens team who's shown the ability to go toe-to-toe with some of the better teams up north. But give me Hazel Green at home.
Steady and consistent is what Athens is. They've been that all year. John Larch Chittum, Hudson Marks, Whit Griffiths. There's some other guys. We can't sit here and roll off, of the thousands and thousands of players across the state. Austin is called the encyclopedia of high school baseball, but I can't remember them all like he can. But those are just some, not all, of the players at Athens. They've been steady. They've been consistent. Every time I see them, it seems like they pitch it well enough to win. They play good defense. Can they get those timely hits? That's what's going to be the big key. Hazel Green, depth in the arms, depth in the lineup. We've pinpointed them from week 1 this year as a potential 6A team that can win it all. And I stay true to that. I think Hazel Green is still a formidable chance to make a deep run. I'm gonna go with Hazel Green as well. In the next matchup, you've got Area 11 winner Oxford. They come in at 24-10, sitting right outside the bubble. They will be welcoming Clay-Chalkville at 8-12. They finished runner-up in Area 12. This series gets started on Friday at 4:30. Man, listen, I saw Oxford a couple weeks ago, and they are really, really offensive. They're going to outscore a lot of people. What's their situation on the mound going to look like? I think that plays a key in them moving forward. I don't think that comes into play this week. I think there's just too much offense. There's too much Yellow Jackets. Give me Oxford to advance.
Yeah, I agree. Give me Oxford and that deep lineup. Give me the Yellow Jackets to move on as well. Our next matchup, you've got the Area 9 winner in Homewood. They'll be playing host to the Area 10 runner-up in Huffman. Homewood comes into this ranked at number 5. They've been in that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 range throughout the course of the season. They're at 26-6, put together a solid resume coming into the playoffs. They swept through their area with pretty relative ease. Homewood comes in finishing as the runner-up to Mountain Brook in their area play. They come in, like I said, with an 11-15 record. Homewood made a deep playoff run last year. Got beaten in a tight game 3 to Hartselle. Looks like they've got a lot coming back, looking to avenge that loss. Give me Homewood to start another potential deep playoff run.
I'm going to go Homewood as well. It's a really complete team, without a doubt. Homewood, plays in a weaker area, and Coach Hall would be the first one to tell you, but he's done a great job of scheduling tough out of area opponents. So I think that's a team ready. I think that's a team that can make a push. Moving right along, wrapping us up in the north, you've got a really interesting matchup in the area of 14 winner Fort Payne. Fort Payne went 4-0 in the area, finishing up at 21-8. They'll be welcoming area 13 runner-up Mortimer Jordan, who come in with a record of 26-7. Both of these teams finished on the outside, looking in, right outside the top 10. This is I believe it's 2 evenly matched teams. Here, I was really impressed with Mortimer Jordan. They are very, very well coached. I really liked how they carried themselves. They didn't get too high, didn't get too low during the good moments, the bad moments. Mortimer Jordan, obviously, I said they had Coleman on the brink, man. Coleman just got hot and won the back end of game 2. That carried over into game 3. Thus, having Mortimer Jordan go on the road in round 1, Fort Payne's body of work all year. We've seen them a couple times up in Tennessee. Listen, this is a matchup of similar teams, and I hate to pick against Mortimer Jordan because I really enjoyed talking to their people last week. Talking to Coach Carnes, does a great job there. But I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going Fort Payne simply because they are at home in a really good competitive series.
I'm going to split this one. I'll go Mortimer Jordan. I like that. I didn't see him, but the swings that I saw from the John Owen Dean kid, good left-handed hitter, was really impressive. We know about Cohen Thompson, freshman southpaw, throws game 1 for them. Just signed up for the state games, I think, yesterday. Mm-hmm. You talked about it. Mortimer Jordan pretty much, didn't dominate, but they won the first 10 or 11 innings of that series against Coleman. And then you said Coleman kind of caught fire and took games 2 and 3. But I'm going to go Mortimer Jordan here. Put together a strong resume throughout the course of the season, as has Fort Payne. These are 2 evenly matched teams. It's really a toss-up, I think, for both of us. You went with Fort Payne because they're at home. I'll go Mortimer Jordan. This feels like a series to split. So we'll split this one and move to the south in 6A, where we have our top, our first south matchup in 6A. The Area 4 winner, Stanhope Elmore. They'll be playing host to the Area 3 runner-up in Rehoboth. Both of these teams come in on the bubble in our last 6A poll. Stanhope Elmore sits at 19-12. Rehoboth is at 19-9. This series will slated to get started on Friday at Stanhope Elmore in Millbrook. Stanhope Elmore coming off of their Final Four run last year. Coach Schumann does a great job always preparing his teams to play well late. And they took game 3 last week against a really good Wetumpka team to win that area championship. And then you look at Rehoboth. They took game 1 against Pike Road in their area championship, and then got beaten games 2 and 3 to Pike Road, were games that I was at. 2, I think really evenly matched teams. Jordan Jones on the mound has been a staple for Stanhope Elmore, and Hayden Anderson commanding shortstop and hitting in the middle of the order for Stanhope Elmore. And then Rehoboth, we both saw Rehoboth, was really impressed with them 1 through 9. There's not an easy out in that lineup. I'm going to go with Stanhope Elmore. I just think when playoff time comes around these last 3 or 4 years, Stanhope Elmore has been right in the mix. I think talent-wise, both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. But I'm going to go with Stanhope Elmore. I'm not sure who you're going to take, but I'll go Stanhope Elmore in this first matchup in the South.
I'm probably already regretting this, but I'm gonna go Rehoboth. Like you said it, when we saw them, we were really impressed with them. Played the game with an edge. I know Stanhope Elmore does as well. I bet this one's high intense. I bet it's really competitive because you said it. Two very similar teams. I need to put that down. So we're gonna split this one. I'm gonna go Rehoboth. All right, and you're gonna go with Stanhope Elmore. All right, so that's a really good series in the South. Our next series down south, you've got the Gulf Shores Dolphins coming at 21-11 and ranked number 10 after winning Area 2, a very competitive, tough Area 2 that they were able to win. They'll be hosting the runner-up from Area 1. That's Theodore. Theodore finished the season with an 8-15 record, finishing runner-up to Saraland. This is another one, man, that I've got to be as honest as I can be with you. I think it's just too much Dolphins. Coach Jacks does a great job. It's a team that has improved all year long. They have consistently gotten better. I think it's a complete team. I think too much Gulf Shores. I can see Gulf Shores really handling business this week in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree too. I think they've really started to figure it out on the mound. John Luke Stevens is as good as a game one starter as you'll find. And then behind that, Woods McElroy, John William Nix, Jesse Rogers has thrown well for them late, and they've produced enough runs to be successful. They've really hit their stride down the stretch. Give me the Dolphins to advance to the next round as well. Our next matchup, we have the Area 7 winner in Spain Park hosting Area 8 runner-up McAdory. Spain Park comes in at 27-7, ranked number 2 in our 6A poll. McAdory finishes at 13-18, finishing behind Hueytown in their area. Spain Park obviously winning that tough area. Is it 7 over Helena, Pelham, and
Chelsea.
Yeah. And they swept their way through it 6-0.
Man,
dominated through area play. What we thought was going to come down to the wire, and it did, but it came down to the wire for the area runner-up. Spain Park really dominated that area, and I think that Spain Park continues to roll. They're obviously one of the top picks, one of the top contenders in the South in 6A. But there's it's a crowded group in 6A. But I think Spain Park rolls here. Give me the Jags to advance to the second round.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Spain Park Jaguars as well. McAdory is very athletic, no doubt about it. But I mean, again, Spain Park has they have just been as consistent as anybody across the state all year long. Again, no need to just rehash what you said, but they are a bona fide contender in 6A. Takes us to our next matchup, Area 5 winner Benjamin Russell. Benjamin Russell comes in at 23-7, sitting right outside the top 10. They went undefeated in area play. They will be welcoming the runner-up from Area 6. That's Brookwood. Brookwood is 4-2 after finishing runner-up to Northridge. Brookwood is 17-3 overall. This one gets started Thursday at 4:30 there at Benjamin Russell. This was a change. It was originally supposed to start on Friday, but Benjamin Russell's Twitter put out that they're moving to Thursday. Listen, I think this is another situation of just too much Benjamin Russell. I think that they are maybe a team under the radar a little bit in 6A. I mean, again, not to talk about any other classes, but 6A may be the deepest from top to bottom of any class in the state. That's including the largest classification. And I think Benjamin Russell is one of those teams that I don't want to use the word slept on, but maybe he's just under the radar a bit. I like Benjamin Russell fairly convincingly this weekend.
Yeah, I like Benjamin Russell too. Maybe a team we're not. It's tough, doing these ranking these top 10 teams. But Benjamin Russell certainly had a case down the stretch. 23-7. Coach Brooks, long time, very successful coach, has done a great job. Give me Benjamin Russell to win at home and advance to the next round. Our next matchup, moving to our final 4 matchups of the podcast episode of round 1. You've got the Area 8 winner in Hueytown playing host to the Area 7 runner-up in Chelsea. Both of these teams finished on the bubble. Hueytown finishes at 22-12. Chelsea finishes at 15-17. Chelsea, looking to, maybe struggled a little bit down the middle part of the season, but did enough to finish as that area runner-up in that tough Area 7 and 6A. And we've talked about the pitching staff is going to give them a chance in every single series that they play in. They're deep. They've got frontline arms, but Hueytown is Coach Chandler has done a great job scheduling. It's tough competition. This will be a very good series to follow in the Birmingham area. I haven't made my pick. Coach Chandler does a great job. His teams are always hard-nosed. I'm going to go. I think this series gets started tomorrow on Thursday at Hueytown. I'm going to go with. I'll go Chelsea. Give me Chelsea. I think that their pitching staff does just enough. Grant Hill, Silas Osborne, Jackson Price, Luke Neal. I think that Bryant Wisdom, the freshman leading that offense. Give me Chelsea, and it's tough to go against Hueytown and Coach Chandler, but I'm going to go with the Hornets to advance.
Yeah, I'm just now typing my pick in as well, and because I didn't know who to go with, because Chelsea is, you mentioned it, that pitching staff can beat anybody in the state. Hueytown has just rolled off win after win. Both these teams, Coach Stallings does a great job. Coach Stallings does a great job with Chelsea. Coach Chandler probably does more with less than anybody across the state. I mean that in a complimentary way. But I'm going to go Hueytown simply because this is a matchup worth following, and I don't want us both to take the same team. All right. I very well could be wrong. Austin very well could be wrong, but we're going to roll with it like we have it here. Pretty interesting matchup here. Again, I think it's sort of a clash of two styles, man. Chelsea, big arms. Hueytown just puts pressure on you offensively, just does everything well. Going to be an interesting one to follow there. Moves us to our next matchup in Area 3 winner, Pike Road. They come in with a record of 25-7 and have been ranked pretty close to just about all year long, especially the back end of the year, in that 7, 8, 9 range. They finish up 9th, and they will be welcoming the runner-up from Area 4. That's Wetumpka. They come in with a record of 20-9, and we've already talked about them losing that series or losing the tiebreaker to Stanhope Elmore, a really good Stanhope Elmore team. This is an interesting series as well. Two quality teams going at it. Wetumpka's been ranked for some part of the year. Coach Brooks does a great job there. Guess it's Coach Brooks both ways, isn't it? Yep, sure is. Yeah, Coach Brooks, both of them. So I'm speaking for both of them. Both these teams are well coached. There's no doubt about it. A pair of 20-plus win teams. This one gets started on Friday at 4:30. This is one I'm not sure which way to go because although I haven't seen Wetumpka, I know that that's a quality team. They beat some really good teams, as has Pike Road. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Give me the home team. I'm going Pike Road. For what reason, I don't know, because I could easily go Wetumpka. But let's throw Pike Road out there and let's see how it works.
I'll go Wetumpka. We'll split this one. I've seen Pike Road multiple times. Pike Roads can swing it. They've got big bats in the middle of that order.
You like that catcher, huh?
Yeah, it's very, very good. But I'm going to go with Wetumpka. 21-9 going into the playoffs. They've beaten Prattville, and these two teams have played. They played March 12th. Wetumpka won 4-3, so that speaks to how evenly matched both of these teams are. I'm going to go. You can go either way with this pick. You go Pike Road. I'll go Wetumpka, and we'll split this one. Two more left. We've got the Area 1 winner in Saraland playing host to McGill-Tulane. Area 2 runner-up, Saraland, who finished at number 6 in our 6A poll. They sit at 24-6, while McGill-Tulane was ranked 9-10 the last few weeks, ultimately fell on the bubble to close out the season. They sit at 20-10, finishing in that tough Area 2 runner-up. This series is slated to get started on Friday. We talked about, we think it's a crowded group of really good teams in 6A, and Saraland has really played consistent all year long down the stretch. They've got good wins. They've beaten Auburn. Played well. Got to see them 2 weeks ago when we took our trip down to the southern part of the state. I think their pitching stacks up well. They're deep on the mound, and 1 through 9, I think that they're solid. Coach Boutwell does a great job. I'm going to go with Saraland. I'm going to go with the Spartans to advance to the next round.
I'm going to go Saraland as well. I was talking to Coach Boutwell last week on the phone, and he told me that he purposely scheduled. I think they were on spring break last week. They were just on spring break last week, and they had played some pretty good teams during that week and the weeks before, because he ran through his area pretty easy. And so, he did a good job of scheduling tougher opponents, to prepare for this. And he hopes that parlays into a deep run in 6A. McGill-Tulane, on the other hand, that area that we've referenced numerous times with Baldwin County, Gulf Shores, and Spanish Fort, that area in itself will prepare you for the state playoffs. And, just to come, whether you're winner or runner up in that area, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you want to host, but you get in the playoffs. And McGill-Tulane has done exactly that. And, they're going to, they don't have to make a real long trip. They're facing someone right there in the area, Saraland. But you said it right. Saraland's been consistent. Saraland has, just went about their business all year. Very talented. I'm going to go with the Spartans to advance to round 2. So that gets us to our last matchup of the 96 matchups that we have covered today. Man, I hadn't even had lunch yet. Area 6, Northridge, dominated that area, going 6-1. They currently sit at 28-6 and have held the top spot in 6A for about the last back half of the season. They will be hosting the runner-up from Area 5. That's Chilton County. Chilton County finished runner-up to Benjamin Russell. Chilton County comes in with a record of 5-22. Northridge is number 1. Northridge has been up there. Northridge has been dominant since we saw them in the kickoff classic. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I'm going with the Jaguars. They obviously can win the whole thing. So let's see.
Yeah. Coach Metters has done a great job in year 1, leading the Jags to a 28-6 record and a tough 34-game schedule. To win 28 of those games is very impressive. They've held that number 1 spot for the majority of the back end of the season. Give me Northridge as well, and that could set up another big-time matchup there in round 2 in 6A. So give me Northridge as well.
3 hours and 21 minutes later, we are now done. We appreciate you hanging in there with us, man. This takes a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. As we said, we did not go into a lot of player depth this week because that would have just taken hours upon hours upon hours to look back throughout the season, and we just don't have time to do that. Next week in our podcast, we will be able to bring out some highlights of players, like if Team A wins, we'll tell, how they got there, who was, who produced for them at the plate, who produced on the mound. We'll give a more in-depth analysis next week because we'll have more to go on. But again, just to reiterate what we said at the beginning of the show, for anybody that was not with us, if we picked against you, it's nothing personal. We don't care who wins. If you need us to pick against you for motivation and there's something wrong with you on a motivational end, it shouldn't matter who somebody's picking to win. It's the state playoffs. That's enough motivation in itself. We greatly appreciate you jumping on. We hope to see you around. Again, our schedule is still in flux as to where we're going tomorrow. We may go to 2 different places, catch a game 1 somewhere and go to catch a game 2 somewhere else. And then Friday into Saturday depends on what game 3s are still going on. How does weather, affect everything? But we look forward to getting out and seeing some quality baseball. Make sure that you know that the next 5 weeks are something that you should enjoy. And thank you there for that comment there, Jacob. I appreciate it. We just enjoy bringing a light to high school baseball across the state of Alabama. That is our sole purpose, is to make this a big deal, and players and coaches alike deserve it. Austin, anything else from you before we wrap this bad boy up?
Good. I'm hungry.
I'm about to starve too. So thank you so much. Take care, and hopefully we see you at the baseball field.